figure out what I'm pointing
I had no idea what you were pointing at.
Yeah, you could, but you got it now. You got that's what I was pointing about.
I had no idea what you were pointing at. Here's a text that came in as the intro music was rolling, Lonzo. Hey, Rob, have you ever tried to cook chicken in a toaster? End quote.
Yeah, it's carryover from the Vince Coakley radio program where someone in Goose Creek, I believe it was, broke into a bank and tried to cook raw chicken in a toaster oven and then decided to take a nap. And then he got caught, but the cops couldn't get him out of the building. They couldn't open the door, so he crawled through the window that he broke to go through and came out and then was arrested. And I was, just curious what that chicken tasted like.
I'm assuming like lightly cooked but still raw chicken would be my guess. Have you ever tried to cook chicken in a toaster?
Here's what it comes down to. We don't know the size of the cut of the chicken. It could have been strips. And I'm thinking that strips could possibly be cooked in a toaster oven.
No, not a chance. A toaster oven doesn't get nearly hot enough. You would have to push the toaster oven down 100 times. And even still, you might put like a light cook on the outside of the chicken, but you're absolutely not getting the middle of that chicken.
Someone out there has a toaster oven. I just have a toaster, and no, I'm not sticking chicken in a toaster. I am curious.
Toast or burnt.
No.
Terribleness.
I think you're mixing a toaster with a toaster oven. A toaster oven has a heat setting on it. I'm not sure how hot a toaster oven gets, but you can control. Yeah, it's an oven. It's like usually has a glass door that you pull down, and you can stick like pieces of toast in it, or you can toast other things in there.
Can you cook? C. And the first thing that comes up is, can you cook chicken in a toaster oven? First thing that came up.
Yeah, they're not listening. It just, yeah.
Apparently, yes, according to thebrilliantkitchen.com, you can roast or bake chicken in a toaster oven, sometimes even a whole Thanksgiving turkey. I don't believe that.
See, I think in your mind, a toaster oven looks a certain way, but you haven't seen the more advanced.
I initially thought we were just talking toasters.
Right.
I thought we were talking a toaster.
Which I think Vince was thinking the same thing, but when you hear toaster oven, that's what I think of.
Get the toaster oven preheated to 375. Okay, yeah, if it goes up to I didn't know toaster ovens could get to 375. If they can get that high, yeah, you can. And some of them have an option for actually baking. You can actually bake things. Okay.
They're usually smaller, so you're not going to cook something really big in it. I think for the most part, the capacity is like 4 to 6 pieces of toast. So if you think about those side by side, too deep, it's a fairly large space to cook something like chicken in.
Okay. I can roll with it. You know what we should do here on the texter says ESPN loved the Sarah McLachlan promo. Save the umps. No. And the other texter about the Sean Taylor story. We're going to get to that in a minute. But before we get to any of that, we got to get to this.
Let's do lunch.
This is a very nutritious lunch. All the food groups are represented. You guys are here.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
You know, they say when you come on the air, you have 8 to 20 seconds to make a strong enough first impression to get people to stick around with the show. I got to tell you, people, if trying to figure out the correct way to cook chicken in a toaster oven isn't compelling enough for you, this show's not for you. All right? We talk about the big stuff here. We talk about the big issues here.
But speaking of issues, we solved something right there.
Yeah.
You were unaware.
A toaster oven now. I've never actually owned one.
Get an air fryer instead.
That's also what I've heard. Now, can you cook a whole chicken in an air fryer?
Yes. Depends on the size of the air fryer.
Well, damn.
I have several different size air fryers, so
I'm gonna have to get an air fryer.
We started out small.
small ones, because the wife, my sister-in-law makes and I talked smack about him until I had him. She makes little like cauliflower like snacks. Like she puts she air fries them and then she puts buffalo sauce on them and shakes them up. And the first time I heard that, I'm like,
you can actually get cauliflower wings at some places.
yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've never ordered them. But
Yeah,
I've heard that.
I've had them just because I'll try just about anything, and I don't recommend them, but I didn't hate them either.
I mean, if you're a vegetarian,
Yeah,
or a vegan, then that's
it's another one of those things where let's make this taste like meat, which still makes no sense. But
it's imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
The little brother did that. The sister-in-law makes these little cauliflower, and then she shakes them in barbecue sauce from the air fryer. And they used to make those a little bit of time, but so they have progressively got larger air fryers, and now theirs is like the size of a washer dryer. It's enormous. Yeah.
Ooh, the things you could make in that.
Item number 1 of the lunch breakdown of 3 things you have to know before you go start talking sports with your friends, family, coworkers, or the dog. Last night, Team USA Soccer gets a big 2-1 win over Costa Rica. It was one that, frankly, I think they had to have. It wasn't an option last night. They had to knock off the Ticos, and it happened. It was a must-win test in Columbus, but they end up getting the better of the Ticos. 2-1, concluded a 6-point window, momentarily putting the U.S. in first place in the region ahead of Mexico's nightcap. Mexico would get the win last night, however, and reclaim first place in the CONCACAF World Cup qualifying table after conceding in the match's opening 90 seconds. The U.S. kept its cool for a second come-from-behind win in this qualifying round. Serginho Dest, an absolute wizard, leveled the score, while Tim Weah took advantage of a Keylor Navas injury, necessitating a halftime goalkeeper switch, and caused his replacement to spill a ball at his near post for a credited own goal, though Weah should get credit for that goal. I have been willing to critique Weah as hard as anybody, but his play last night resulted in the second goal. The result ensures the U.S. will close this window in either first or second. They ended up in second. They are on track to qualify for the World Cup in Qatar next winter. A big win as the boys come from behind to get that 2-1 dub. Look, I'm still not thrilled. I'm really not. Greg Berhalter has still yet to find the correct starting 11, despite the fact that there are some obvious decisions that could, should, would be made. You know, I understand that every time we talk about coaching changes, the first question that gets asked is, well, who would you put in there to do better, right? Here's the thing. I don't need to know if somebody could do better to know that what is happening is not good enough. I've used this analogy a million times. I don't have to be a Michelin star chef to know my steak is burnt. If I go into a restaurant expecting a good steak and the steak comes out burnt and I go, the steak is burnt, your chef's bad, the question shouldn't be, well, who would you have cook a steak better? I don't know, but I would find somebody. That being said, they took 3 last night. They got 3 from the opening game of the window. They did leave a point or 3 down in Panama, so they'll take 6 out of this window. I think 7 is probably what I would expect it out of this window, so I think they came up just a little bit short from what we're expecting in these 3 games, but a dub is a dub. Item number 2 on the lunch breakdown today, Phil Mickelson and Rory Mcilroy have brought an interesting golf discussion into light. Mickelson has been very active on Twitter. The USGA, the PGA, and the Royal and Ancient Golf Club have come together to put forward a change in the game. They are going to be limiting the length of driver shaft for tour players down to 46 inches. Now, in all honesty, not a lot of guys use drivers that are longer than 46. If I recall correctly, Bryson DeChambeau is using like a 47.5. I want to say Phil uses a 46.5. Most guys don't use too much longer than 46, but some do. Some of the heavy hitters on tour use 46 plus inches, but they will now be limited to 46. Well, Mickelson yesterday fired off another tweet, this time accusing the PGA Tour of adopting a model local rule, and said that they did so, quote, through the media, end quote, and without representation and discussion from tour players. Mickelson wrote, quote, "It is extremely disappointing to find out the PGA Tour adopted the new USGA rule through the media. I don't know of any player who had any say or any kind of representation in this matter. I do know many are wondering if there's a better way." Tuesday, Mickelson tweeted out that the change in driver length was no bueno. Tweeted out that the change in driver length was not good, that the change in driver length would lead to injury. Why? He said shorter drivers will lead to more violent swings from those who are trying to create distance off the tee, which will lead ultimately to injury. Well, Mickelson's argument, according to some on tour, is missing context. The tour said they will adopt the rule when it goes into effect on January 1st. They had already come out with a statement on Tuesday that explained it had surveyed the usage of clubs on its three main tours, and that its player advisory council recently reviewed the subject and concluded the tour would go on with implementing the rule. A tour official also confirmed to Golf Channel that all players had been sent an email on Tuesday morning stating the tour would be implementing the rule next year. On Wednesday afternoon in Vegas, Rory Mcilroy confirmed as much, saying he was a part of the Players Actions Committee discussion. McIlroy said, quote, "It might make a difference going forward. I think the trend was there of guys going to longer clubs and using them, but I think it's more of a preventative measure. I think if this is as far as they want the ball to go, I think we're too far past like trying to roll it back. But if this is sort of setting the limit, I think it's just a preventative measure for the future. I don't think it will make a world of difference, but I was in all those meetings when we discussed it for quite a while, and I think the majority of players are on board with it." So Rory and the PGA Tour are saying that Phil Mickelson is wrong, that players did have input, did have say, and that most of them were on board with this rule. Look, the rule change is very simple. There's a reason why the rule change is going on. Why? It's because they don't want guys like Bryson DeChambeau bombing on one on long par fours. It's not what they want. If you're going to get far, you are going to do so based on muscle, based on strength, based on good swing pattern, based on tempo, not by just extending your driver out 2-3 more inches to pick up another 10, 15, 20 yards of distance, which I get. We have seen golf courses getting longer and longer over the years. It has made tournaments more and more brutal to watch as guys are bombing par fours in one.
Someone used science and physics to help themselves, and they're against that.
No, they are against the idea that we're creating a situation.
Is this like restrictor plates? Is it the same sort of thing?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Basically, yeah. They're going, okay, the limit, so here's the thing. As technology improves, and let's be real, right? You mentioned science and physics. It is absolutely physics. The further a distance from the swing point that an object is, the higher the speed it must maintain in order to maintain a constant speed across the item. That is why the outside of your tire on your car spins faster, speed-wise, not RPMs-wise, but speed-wise, the outside of your tire spins faster than the inside of the tire because it has to make up more ground but keep the same RPM. So the longer your golf club, the more force, the more you are putting kinetic energy into the head of the golf club, the faster it is traveling. F equals ma, force equals mass times acceleration. You're creating more acceleration and more speed, which creates more force on the golf ball. So they're saying you get big, you get as strong, you use all the algebraic equations that you want to use, but at the end of the day, we can't let you guys go out there and bomb par fours in one. You're going to kind of kill the tournament, right? I don't have a huge problem with it because there's only a couple of guys that go that long, so I'm good with it. And finally, item number 3 on the lunch breakdown, Adam Schefter, via an ESPN statement, has released an apology and a clarification. Texter says, wow, listen to how smart Rob is. Do you know why, Lonzo?
Because he's a haughty intellectual.
I want you to know I could smell that statement from.
But here's the other thing. Rob may not have a clue what he's talking about, but no. I'm not. I'm just
politics.
I'm just saying
just
of the confidence in the voice.
Force equals mass times acceleration.
I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that. I actually won physics awards. I know it's hard to believe. It was a long time ago. It was a long time ago. I've since hit my head a few times.
Adam Schefter has released a statement via ESPN. It says, quote, fair questions are being asked about my reporting approach on an NFL lockout story from 10 years ago. Just to clarify, it's common practice to verify the facts of a story with sources before you publish in order to be as accurate as possible. In this case, I took the rare step of sending the full story in advance because of the complex nature of the collective bargaining talks. It was a step too far, and looking back, I shouldn't have done it. The criticism being levied is fair. With that, I want to make this perfectly clear. In no way did I or would I cede editorial control or hand over final say about a story to anyone ever.
Yeah, that's what he did.
I was going to say.
Yeah. Okay.
Shefty, I want to defend you, big dog. I want to defend you, Shefty. But you are aware that we actually read the email, right? Like, you are aware we saw that you called him Mr. Editor, that you asked him what should be tweaked, reviewed, changed, or omitted from the email. You're aware that we saw that, right? Here's the thing that I have. Do you understand how big of a deal? Because look, I know the majority of people that are listening to the show aren't journalists and haven't been. But I know most of you understand the concept of journalistic integrity and expect it. At least I hope you do. Here's the problem. It's a very similar problem with some of the other statements that we have broken down and analyzed on this show recently. Can we call a spade here, Adam? What you're saying in this statement isn't true. Okay? It's not true. Just to clarify, quote, just to clarify, it's common practice to verify facts of a story with sources before you publish in order to be as accurate as possible. Correct. I agree with you. I literally laid you down my process yesterday. The last thing I did before I went public with this story was to get in touch with the subject of the story and say, here are the facts, not the story, but here's the facts. But I don't say change, omit, delete, whatever, as you see fit. I say, would you like to combat, to debate, to discuss, to refute any of these facts on the record? And if the answer is no, I will say so-and-so declined comment. If they do, I would like to say, here are the facts. It was directly disputed by the subject of the story who claimed that blank. I mean, no, Adam, we read the email, dude. We read the email. I gotta tell you, in 2021, it would go a long way for people just to say, I screwed up. I screwed up. That was on me. Oops. Those of you on the stream, stay tuned momentarily. We're having technical difficulties.
Who's that? No, it was not.
Plexiglass fell. The penalty box fell. All right. I think, wait, hold on. God, son of a gun. Dadgummit.
Well, how heavy is that?
Heavier than I expected. All right, those of you on the stream, just stay tuned for a minute. I'm going to have to work on this. There we go, ish.
See, I would come around and take care of it, but we should just go to break and then
we're going to do that now.
Then.
We're going to do that now. Anyway, Shefty, you know we read the email, right? Like, we read the email. We saw it. That's not what you did. Just own it, bro. Just own it. How much different is this story if he just owns it? Significantly. Just own it. Quick break. Remember, at 1 o'clock today, Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast, will join us to talk Panther football. At 2:20, because I didn't forget again, Lonzo's Fight Club. Your home for all things combat sports in the upstate.
And Rob and I are going to fight today.
Are we?
Yes, we are. It's going to be fun.
If you guys could see the Joker-esque smile Lonzo got on his face when he said that, well, I'm suddenly both looking and not looking forward to that segment somehow. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show, ESPN Upstate. All right, I think I fixed it. Is that monitor in a weird spot for you?
No, we're good.
Okay.
So Russ says he has an air fryer that cooks a 20-pound turkey.
That's a huge turkey.
It's not a huge turkey.
20 pounds?
No, it's like a family-sized turkey.
I don't have a family.
Yeah, so I mean, sure you do. We're all your family, Rob.
Aw.
So Dr. Britt Baker, D, just tweeted, just letting everyone know I wear Crocs in the dental office.
Nurses, dentists, doctors are the one group that's allowed to wear Crocs.
So it has nothing to do with you being accepting of Crocs because it's her.
Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. No, my cousin's a nurse. I have no issue with Crocs. Now, if a nurse goes out on the town in Crocs, she's getting called out just like everybody else.
It must be hard.
If I saw Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, if she came in to do an interview and wore Crocs, I'd have to ask her about it. I'd be like, why?
And you would get the
but I suspect she wouldn't do that.
You would get the I'm trying to figure out
treatment.
Yeah, I just didn't want to say his name, but you did it. So it was your turn. By the way, I am not a hater of Crocs like Rob, and I will not question your fashion choices like Rob does. He apparently is a big stickler when it comes to footwear and what is or is not, dad kicks, whether Crocs are acceptable. You want to work in your bare feet? I don't care.
I absolutely do.
I don't
Crocs
care.
Before you're barefooted around me.
You wear bare feet. I mean, wear bare feet. Let your bare feet shine. Whatever. I am not eating off the floor. So what do I care if your feet are bare? I look down and see fungus. That's probably going to bother me a little bit. And I might suggest some, taking a shower, but I've been known to go bare feet on Saturday nights around here. Just saying.
Yeah, at your house?
No, here. This is my house.
You walk around this floor barefooted?
Why not?
Well, that's why I wear shoes, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Because why? This makes no sense. I've had this argument with Chris also. You guys are so much alike.
Feet are gross. They're gross.
What does bare feet on this floor?
Feet on the floor.
So?
If I also...
I'm not...
How does no one else get this? Feet are gross. They are
feet,
the grossest part. They are
feet are not gross. Feet are awesome.
All day long. And if they're not inside of socks, then they're walking around picking up everything that's on your floor. There is no condition except in the shower where feet are clean. None. As soon as you're out of the shower, boom, your feet go right back to being the dirtiest part of you.
So?
I have just been informed that on Saturday nights, Lonzo walks around this studio barefoot.
Yeah.
I'm put off, to say the least.
By the way, I appreciate all the people who watch and listen to the show, and if you are someone who does, you already knew that. So it's no surprise to you. And now, tomorrow I ain't wearing shoes for the show.
Unless actual beach, on an actual beach, there's no justification for you being barefooted. At least put on some flip-flops, all right? At least put on some flip-flops. No. Feet are gross. They are the dirtiest part of your body. There is no situation except literally in the shower in which your feet are clean, because as soon as you step out of the shower, your feet go being right back on your bathroom floor,
and
which makes them dirty again.
How does that affect you?
if your feet are in my personal space,
Yeah.
mentally,
Am
emotionally.
Am I caressing your thought?
Number one, your feet being on the floor, barefooted, I can at least rationalize that by going, right, and that is why I keep my shoes on like a civilized person.
By the way, I'm not the only one because radio.
When somebody's not wearing shoes, it will probably be the one time that I get confrontational. Why are you not wearing shoes? Are you not an adult human being?
How does it hurt? Does it offend you? This
very little offends me.
This makes no sense. It makes no sense at all.
Very little offends me. Put your shoes on. Put your shoes on. You're not a 6-year-old child.
I am very tempted to take my shoes off right now.
Please don't.
Why?
Please don't.
Why?
Because I don't want to be in a room with your bare feet. Just don't put your feet. Your foot should not touch any substance that's not the bottom of a shower.
By the way,
or sand.
Feet are bare in the office all the time.
Oh.
All the time. Putting my feet at least 5.
Says, bro, that's how you catch diseases and blank. No lie.
Really? That's how you catch diseases.
I mean, catch athletes that way.
Well, maybe by being an athlete. But the other thing is,
do with it.
Sure it does. There's a reason why it's called athlete's foot.
Texas says you should make a Twitter poll about the shoeless Lonzo thing. I really should. In fact, I will. When we go to break.
By the way,
going on the poll.
However disgusting it is for the listeners, I don't care. But I think you're going to find out that you're wrong. So you don't get.
No, but it's my apartment.
Okay. That's disgusting, Rob. How can you?
And if I do, I vacuum and clean my floors up before they come in every time.
Do you wear shoes when you vacuum the floor?
I don't know that I've ever thought about that. I guess if I'm already wearing shoes, yes. Like my first reaction when I come into the house is not take my shoes off and go barefooted immediately. Like if I get out of the shower, I'm not like,
you mean like a normal person when they go home, the first thing they do is take their shoes off.
No, not me.
Yeah, that's what most people do.
Texas says you can catch ringworm through the floor.
Wow.
Texas says feet are disgusting. Cover those beasts. Texas says I bet on Saturday nights Lonzo's in the studio with bare feet and wearing nothing but tighty whities. I can neither confirm nor deny.
Hey, I'm into colored underwear.
Texter says, Lonzo, buddy, you are completely wrong. That's a borderline HR violation.
That might.
It's dress code.
Are you sure? We don't have dress code here. Are you kidding?
We're wearing bowling shirts.
No one's allowed in this building. It might as well be my living room.
If you are not in the sanctity of your own home or standing on an actual beach, put your shoes on. Shower, your own home, a beach. Those are the three.
Out of all the things that we've discussed here, this is your most ridiculous because, again, I got you with the vacuuming. I got
2% of people texting and agree with me. In fact,
wow.
The only consistent cleaning I do in my home is vacuuming my floor. It's the one thing I do more than once a week. The one thing.
Man, how dirty are you that you have to vacuum more than?
Texas says, Rob, you said feet are the dirtiest part of the body. Apparently you haven't followed me after a bathroom, and I'm going to stop reading that text. Thanks, Brandon.
I was going to say it's nice to know that the Rise guys are texting him, but
Brandon.
Yeah.
All right, we got a couple of texts on the Schefter thing. Joe and Greer text in, says, Shefty to shifty in no time at all. Yeah. Yeah. I don't love it. Like I said, I don't know, Zoe, like, I've only been on the top tier of broadcasting a couple of times, right? I've filled in on a couple of nationally syndicated shows in my past, back on the old Sporting News Radio turned Yahoo Sports. I did a couple of nationally syndicated shows. I've been on what I think HBO picked up a fight that I was calling one time years ago, like 8, 9, 10 years ago. I've been on the national stage like twice. And I still feel like even if I made it to ESPN, you have, if you claim the role of journalist, right? You have a role, a responsibility to have some ethics and integrity in journalism. And Shefty claims that title.
I have a problem also with his explanation, unless I misheard. But so when he breaks news, does he have to have approval to do that?
The process that usually works is that you'll be so a guy like Schefter is not going to get assigned stories like a normal journalist would. Normal journalists at lower levels are going to get assigned stories. We want you to run this down. Once you get to higher levels, you are eventually given the credit to go out and flesh out your own stories, which is where Schefter is. But ordinarily, your story is going to get run through an editor, right? An editor, a producer, and a manager, usually 3 that are going to sign off, and all 3 sign off. But if you're running down your own stories, if you're a guy that makes it to the level of Schefter and you're running down your own stories, ordinarily, you have the trust of the parties that would sign off for you. Ordinarily, you have the trust to where they're going to go, we're not going to like check out every story. We're not going to run down every story because we trust that you have done enough to put this story together the right way. And Shefty, I'm sure, has reached that level within the 4-letter. Yeah. So Schefter probably isn't getting stories signed off on so much as he's going to ESPN and going, here's my story, I'm ready to file. And they go, okay, you're Adam Schefter, go ahead. Top tier journalists are in that group. There's not a ton of them, but they are.
Which gives you a certain kind of power that after a while, there are no checks and balances. You can just.
Right. And that's the trust element of it, right? Like the trust element. ESPN trust Adam Schefter. CNN, New York Times.
Do they still?
I would think at this point, because they have now been dragged into this, I suspect that they will likely be taking the old trust but verify route. Who is it? Reagan, trust but verify, I think. They'll be taking the old trust but verify route. My dad used to say that to me all the time. I trust you to do the right thing. I'm just going to verify that you did. Which to me says, then you don't trust me.
Then you don't trust, exactly.
Right. Then you don't trust me. So no, I guess might be the answer. I don't know what ESPN is going to make as far as changes. You'll notice that Schefter's statement, did you see where it came from? It came from ESPN, which means to me that they oversaw the statement. They didn't just let Shefty, they didn't tell Shefty, hey, why don't you go ahead and go live on Twitter and clarify?
Or maybe they wrote it.
They might have. That's a very Shefty statement that guy made. But whether they wrote it or he did, they signed off on it. If Shefty was doing it on his own accord, he'd have gone live on Twitter. He'd have made a video of it. He'd have periscoped it or Instagram lived it or whatever. He'd have done something else. But the fact that the statement went through ESPN makes me believe that they're probably exerting a little bit more control over what he says than they did. How long will that last? I don't know. Schefter is their money dog when it comes to NFL stories. But now they have found out that he was also, at least one time, acted as a mouthpiece for the league. Schefter's statement does not change my feelings on what he did wrong in that story. He was a mouthpiece. He allowed an NFL team to dictate what came out in that story. That's not a journalist. That's a public relations guy. So it doesn't change anything as far as I'm concerned, which is why this remains a story. 844-GSP, ESPN, 844-477-3776. Text us on the Ingles Market text line at 71307. Start your text with ESPN. We can read them on the air. We're back after this on the Rob Brown Show, ESPN Upstate.
What if they make Croc bowling shoes? I'm just curious.
I hope you get some. I really do.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm just curious. Got my first eye roll of the day, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, they make Croc bowling shoes. So some of them just look like bowling shoes.
Are they real? Are there Croc bowling shoes?
Well, I see some. I guess they're as real as the internet. Now the question is, okay, so these bowling shoes, Crocs for men and women, they have like bowling balls and pins on the Crocs. Does that actually mean that you can bowl in them? Because I don't think they are. Hey, there's some SpongeBob Crocs.
So I get like adults being into certain cartoons because they help raise you, or they're just really entertaining. I will never get the adults who are super into SpongeBob SquarePants. I don't get it.
Let's go say be careful because.
No, I know. No. That's what I'm saying. Like there are shows I get because they're good shows and they just happen to be animated. Like I watch Bob's Burgers routinely. It's one of my favorite shows.
I'm pretty ticked off about a show that I've been watching that has 800 episodes and I'm 325 in. And suddenly, even though it says it's English dubbed,
it's not.
No. And I don't know if Funimation is just messed up or what. And I'm just like, says English. I changed it, made sure it was in English. And I can't walk on the treadmill with subs because apparently I can't read and walk at the same time.
The Lions posted a picture of and a happy birthday message to Jared Goff today. Said happy birthday, Jared Goff. And the first comment is, what is he turning besides the ball over?
Sorry, I was laughing at Steven's comment.
The plexiglass fail of 2021.
Okay, you were saying something about SpongeBob that you didn't get why people.
Yeah, why are adults?
Again, I agree with you. If you grew up on something and you're just still really into it because it reminds you of childhood.
If you are down to Scooby-Doo and you grew up with Scooby-Doo, great. But if you are 40 years old, why are you into SpongeBob? You didn't grow up with SpongeBob unless you get hype. Like, unless you like the shows that raised your kids, right? Like,
which there are shows that I got into because the kids were into them. And that's a way to do it because you want to watch with them and see what they're watching.
And that's fine, but like that's not your show.
Well, I got into Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. I was like in my late 20s, early 30s.
That's a genuinely good show written for
adults.
SpongeBob is not.
It is, but I probably wouldn't have watched. Well, no, I might have. I've been into some kinds of anime since I was a kid. So it's like playing video games to me. You progress as they progress and you find something that you like.
You like Minecraft. Why? I mean, it's a tough game. I get it.
Yeah, I can't get into the blocks.
Yeah.
It bothers me, but it's a fine line. I have a hard time getting on people for what they're fans of, unless it's like hurtful of other people or something like that.
I mean,
doesn't mean I understand it.
I mean, you know my attitude on it, which is whatever, but just I'm not judging. I just don't get it.
I believe it was Sheryl Crow who said, if it makes you happy.
It can't be that bad. Yes, it can. Yes, it can.
Mad World in the next break. What's LaCroix? LaCroix. LaCroix. I don't know what that is.
All right, the Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is ESPN Upstate. Thank you for joining us. 844-GSP, ESPN, 844-477-3776. So, there was a Robbie Anderson bust out. Yes, I saw it, Lonzo. Calm down. Don't give yourself an aneurysm over there. It's a funny message, though.
It's pretty funny.
Earlier in the week, Carolina Panthers taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, and things did not go great during the game with the Eagles. Carolina Panthers wide receiver Robbie Anderson had a bit of a breakout. Anderson made some comments yesterday, first time he spoke out since there was an outburst from the wide receiver on the sideline. And on the sideline, he got up into some coaches and other players' faces. There was a little, we're going to talk to Rashad Beard of this coming up here in about 13 minutes. Anderson was not thrilled. Yesterday, he spoke out about his comment or his outburst on the sideline towards his coaches when he said that he meant no harm, that he is a team player, and he hopes that the incident shows how passionate he is about winning. Admitted that he was frustrated during the 21-18 loss to the Eagles, but insisted that his outburst was out of passion for wanting to help the team win. Anderson, quote, Tom Brady does that, and he's one of the greatest. Players get mad. Coaches yell at players. It's nothing I'm ashamed of. I think that's a good thing so the world can see I care. I would hope that's how my teammates view it. Matt Rule said he did not have a problem with Anderson's outburst as long as things don't get personal. He said, quote, it's a game of emotion. We all have to play better. The incident happened after QB Sam Darnold threw his third interception of the game on Sunday. At the time, the Panthers were driving and trying to score the game-winning touchdown or tie the score with a field goal. Anderson ran a comeback route, and Eagles cornerback Steven Nelson sat on the route and stepped in front of Anderson to pick it off. After the game, Nelson said he knew it was coming because Anderson had been lined up in that formation running that play all game long. Anderson said that's what he was trying to communicate with the coaching staff. He thought he should run a double move to take advantage of Nelson sitting on the route. Anderson said, quote, I felt we could capitalize off of that. That was my mindset. I have a very high football IQ. I was brought up under veteran legends Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker, and I study the game and I study myself. So I know my capabilities. I understand coverages and I understand football. So it was along those lines. Robbie Anderson, who's been very good, has not really developed a great connection with Sam Darnold. He has 12 catches for $179 and a touchdown in 5 games for the Panthers so far this season, tied for 4th on the team. Last season, Anderson led the Panthers with 95 catches, a career high. He also had 1,096 receiving yards. He is on pace right now to end up with around 50 catches, so around half of where he ended up with last year. He also said that his role has changed this year. He said some of the routes he's running are different, but he said, quote, my goal is to help us win. So if I don't touch the ball and we win, it's fair game. My ultimate goal is to win. I'm a team player, but losing, I'm a sore loser. Everybody on this team, we don't touch the field to lose. So if we lose and I don't feel like I contributed as much, then I'd be a little frustrated, but that's the type of player that I am. Lonzo, he's right. He's absolutely correct.
I agree. He's right. But at the same time, when you tell people, hey, I have a really high IQ, you're kind of like, I think you're making an excuse for your outburst in the wrong way. If you're to say, hey, I was emotional, I don't like losing, that's fine. But what you just said is you said you're smarter than the coaches. And in a lot of ways, when you say, hey, I'm smarter than you, that person who's over you, you have not endeared yourself to them. Some of them are going to be reasonable and go, you know what, you're right, I made a mistake. But when you have an emotional outburst and point it out and then point it out with that explanation, are things going to change? Or are the coaches going to go, okay, you think you're smarter than me? Enjoy running that same route the rest of the – and I know it's about winning, but at the same time, everyone's got a little bit of that in them, a little bit of that, okay, you think you're smarter than me, I'll show you type thing. And I think he could have explained why he was upset with a little less detail.
But again, he's right, because I went back and I watched, and I just sped through the game. I DVR'd through the game, and I watched the routes he was talking about. And I cannot tell you how many times, Lonzo, Robbie Anderson ran that comeback route. It was about 7-8 times in that game. Same formation every time. He would have separation from the cornerback. He would run the comeback route. It was open the first couple of times, and then Nelson just started playing it casually, started stepping up, and if Darnold happened to be looking that way when the motion started, he jumped the route. The problem is, if you are a coach, you have got to see that happening. You have got to see Nelson. In fact, it goes back to the Saints Super Bowl. I was the same play on the same route that Tracy Porter jumped when he picked off Peyton Manning from Marvin Harrison, because Harrison was in the same formation, ran the same route. Eventually, the cornerback saw it and jumped it. Okay, it happens to even the greats.
See, here's my problem. From what I understand, there's a lot of improvising that goes on in a game like that. He could have came to Sam Darnold and said, hey, man, this guy's jumping on the route. You don't have to throw your coach under the bus and say, hey, I'm going to do this. I know the play calls for this. Let me try this and see if I get open. Is he going to get reprimanded for that? Probably not, especially if he gets a touchdown over it. But instead, he does, which a lot of receivers do, and he throws his coaches under the bus.
You don't improvise that route at that spot because that's a timing route, right? That's a timing route. The ball, if the ball is thrown right, the ball is thrown before the receiver even turns his head back to the quarterback. When he turns his head back, that ball's on the way already.
I could quote Gronkowski here, but I'm not.
69.
That wasn't about practicing offense, and he said he hadn't practiced offense in forever. He just goes out and runs whatever he wants.
Yeah, but also he's working with Brady. And I'm not saying that because Brady's great. I'm saying that because him and Brady have been doing this for years together. Robbie Anderson and Sam Darnold don't have the chemistry for Anderson to be improvising routes. If he
sounds like Robbie just don't like Sam, and that's fine.
Maybe.
I mean, people under the bus.
Now, I actually agree with Robbie Anderson. I do. He improvises a double route, and Darnold throws that ball the way a comeback route's supposed to be thrown. It's picked either way. But if Darnold pump fakes the comeback route, gets Nelson to bite up, and then double moves around him, that's 6. Anderson's spot on right. You may not like how he delivered it, but he's right. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show.
Now we'll.
'21 version of Mad World is here. Grab your friends and get ready to scream. Whether you're a kid, teenager, or a big kid at heart, you will have a blast with their interactive set. And 2021 showcases their most expansive haunt experience to date with one of the most technical and immersive haunt sets in the entire United States, topped off with more scenes, more actors, and more scares than ever before. Mad World is more than just a haunted house. There are escape rooms, scary carnival games, concessions, a bonfire, amazing photo opportunities, a gift shop, and this year, the brand new 18-hole Ghost Town mini golf. It is scary entertainment for all ages, including families, adults, teenagers, and the adrenaline junkies at heart. Don't wait until Halloween weekend to go and have to wait in a long line because of the popularity of this incredible attraction. Go to madworldattractions.com, madworldattractions.com. It's located in Piedmont off of I-85 at exit 35. And remember that no scare medallion is available. So if you just want to go see, if maybe you're into acting and would like to see the actors in the scenes, get that no scare medallion. Go to madworldattractions.com. Get your tickets today. It's the 2021 version of Mad World.
Friday, sunshine high of 82 degrees. Saturday, sun chance for rain high of 76. Sunday, sunshine high of 69. Meteorologist Jennifer Lucchese on ESPN Upstate. Currently, it's 81.
This feature is sponsored by Envoy. The workplace is changing. Make yours better than it was before. And create a workplace people love with Envoy. Don't just come back better. Envoy. Make hybrid work. Envoy.com.
What can give you a competitive edge in today's red-hot housing market? Rocket can. That's because Rocket Mortgage can give you a verified approval. It could help your offer stand out. Rocket Technology provides a rock-solid verification of your income, assets, and credit, giving sellers greater confidence in you. Go to rocketmortgage.com or call us today at 8338-ROCKET.
A verified approval is based on an underwriting analysis of your individual financial information or call for cost information and issues for states and consumer access.
Attorney Joe Cordell. New school, new job, new home.
Change is hard and can leave you feeling isolated, and divorce delivers one of
Go ahead and give me Rashad's number.
the relationships you counted on are suddenly.
Sorry, you guys missed Lonzo making excuses for bowling tonight.
I'm not making excuses. I'm hurting, but I'm going to.
He's gonna tough it out.
Yeah, I am. Like last week, even though my fingers were killing me, and then Rob tells me there's a bet on it, so I'm fighting through the pain. You noticed my game improved after you told me that.
Yeah. So I just need to tell you, I need to make sure that there's no bets on you if I'm falling behind. Lonzo, no one is betting on us. All right, wrapping up hour number one. Coming up in the next segment, Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast, is going to join us here on the show to talk a little Panther football. We'll ask him his take on this Robbie Anderson story and his apology for lack thereof for it. I don't think he needs to give one. I think he was right. I think he was spot on accurate in his take. So we'll break that down. Plus, Captain James Tiberius Kirk went to space, and we have the audio, and it is incredible. Hear what I mean coming up in the next hour of the Rob Brown Show here on ESPN Upstate.
Presents your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update powered by The Score. The Atlanta Braves will find out who their NLCS opponent is tonight as the Dodgers and the Giants are going to match up against each other. That's Game 5 of their NLDS being played in San Francisco. Julio Urias is set to get the start for the Dodgers after being Major League Baseball's only 20-game winner this year, while Logan Webb will get the start for San Francisco. The NLCS will begin on Saturday night. If the Dodgers win tonight, the Braves will play host to the Dodgers in Game 1. However, if the San Francisco Giants get the win tonight, the Atlanta Braves will end up traveling to San Francisco for Game 1 on Saturday. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports
That player was either safe or out. Those are the only two options. Watch the replay. He was clearly, demonstrably, without a doubt, not safe because the first thing you have to do to be safe is to touch the freaking base. And you know what Alec Bohm didn't do? Touch the freaking base. He just didn't touch it at all. This is not bang, bang play. There was no bang, bang because there wasn't no bang in the bang, bang. There was just one bang, which was...
Hello, can I speak to Rashad, please? Hey. Oh, we've got about 30 seconds. Hang on. Sorry, Rashad, if you're watching, but this is the only counter I have.
Jerry Recco, join Kevin Ray, Danny White, myself for all the action as the Dallas Cowboys hit the road in search of a fifth straight win.
The small talk is at an end due to persecution.
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 Sunday afternoon at 4. The NFL plays here on ESPN Upstate.
Although I would love to talk to Rashad, but what can I do? That camera's a different position now. It's like closer on you. Seems like it.
Yeah, it is a little bit. But it's not going anywhere. All right, let's get it. Hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show's back on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. Hello, South Carolina, and, of course, the rest of the world on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Put it on all your digital devices and don't miss a minute of the award-winning broadcasting that is the Rob Brown Show, including the spectacular interviews that we bring you every. I know I screwed up. I got to. Started to read my own press clippings. Got a little carried away with the braggadociousness, and I don't think that's actually a word. Braggadocious is
braggadocio.
The goodness of the show.
It's greatness.
The outstandingnessism of the show.
Award-winning. Hello.
And part of the reason why is because we have incredible guests that join us. See, this is me trying to recover from my mistake and inflate the ego of the young man who joins us at 1 o'clock every single Thursday to talk Carolina football. He is the host of the Panther Nation podcast, which you can find on Twitter at Panther Nation PC. You can find him on YouTube under Panther Nation Podcast. It is a must listen to, as I did for the post game last week, which I want to jump into. My man, Rashad Beard, joining us here on the show. What up, big dog?
Oh, man, if you caught the post game, man, you caught me in a vulnerable moment.
Rashad, you were hot, dude. You were hot, bro. You were hot. I saw it. You were hot.
I was. Yeah, I was.
I want to let's jump into that if you don't mind. And here's why. I actually pulled. I don't think I've done this before, but I actually pulled, edited, and then played your take on the fact that the bank sounded like an Eagles home game on Sunday. Give me the radio friendly version of what you were saying, because I got to tell you, as somebody who has an economic interest in the Carolina Panthers doing well, it wasn't a great watch on TV when the Eagles had when the Panthers had the ball, and I could hear the Eagles chanting defense.
Yeah, I vividly remember that moment. I'm sitting in section 108, close to the field, and the stadium just explodes in the defense chant, and I didn't realize where I was. I was, and listen, our stadium kind of gets taken over when teams that we haven't played in a long time, they come and they bring their fans. And, Philly, they're a really good fan base. They go hard for the team. But I was not expecting that. They came, they took over the band. Credit to them. They came out to support their 1-3 team at the time. They showed up, supported the team, and it sucks. It sucks. We need Panther Nation to show up and support this team. I mean, because you can't have a team deep in the opposite end of the stadium chanting, and they're hearing these loud chants of defense, and they can't even get their play calls right because they're at home. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So we need Panther Nation to show up, come to these games, support your team. PSR owners, please do not sell your tickets to opposing. I know it's all about the money, right? You're trying to sell your tickets, but please consider selling them to a fan if you can. Just please, because it's unacceptable.
It's interesting because since I've gotten here, the biggest complaint that I have gotten since I moved here was that Panthers games have an unfortunate reputation, Rashad, of being more of a social event than what you traditionally consider a football game, a football crowd, a crowd that's into the game. Is that true from somebody who has unfortunately yet been unable to make it to a Panthers game? Is that true? And B, if so, does that hurt a team that most of us genuinely believe is on an upward trajectory?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely hurts. I mean, and I think we definitely, if you talk to most people, they're going to say we have a wine and cheese crowd, right? They're going to say that nobody's standing up, banging. There's a select few, and shout out to the Roaring Riot. They're a membership-based organization that goes hard for the Panthers, and they try their best. They have their tailgate, and they've been trying their best to quote unquote change the culture, right? Because of that, and it just really sucks because this team is capable. Like our fan base is capable. Going back to 2015, I had a opportunity to speak with Philly Brown, who was a wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers, and he said that, and this is a guy that played at Ohio State. He said back in 2015 at the NFC Championship game where we beat the Arizona Cardinals, the stadium was the loudest stadium he had ever been to. This guy played for Ohio State. He played in the Big House. He played at Penn State during the whiteout. So keep that in mind, right? We're capable, but our fan base really ebbs and flows with the success of the team. We don't have the diehards are very few and far between, right? So we need this. We need the fans. If you're going to support this team and you're a Panthers fan, we need you to come out. We need you to show your support. We need you to get rowdy in the crowd. I'm there. I've attended every home game this year. And yeah, man, if you need somebody to sit to and you don't feel comfortable, I'm right there. I'm going crazy. I'm going nuts. So I'm trying my best to kind of change that. But I'm only one person. So and support this team. This team is capable, like you're saying. And I think just that little boost of them coming home and hearing that crowd support definitely helps.
Talking to Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Rashad, I want to get to some on-the-field stuff, and I want to start. We saw the camera on Robbie Anderson, had a little bit of an outburst late in the game as the Panthers were trying to drive to either tie it up or take the lead with a touchdown. Got a little heated on the sideline yesterday. He explained it was because of the fact that he had been asking or telling the coaches, we need to run a double move. Nelson is jumping my route. Let me get a dot. And he says that didn't happen. I think he's right. I actually agree with him. I went back. I watched that same route was run about 7 times that game, and a good cornerback is going to eat it alive if you don't do anything differently. Lonzo said, he went too far. It makes it sound like he's talking that he's smarter than the coaches, etc. I don't know if he is or isn't, Rashad, but I think he's got a point. What was your take on that whole situation?
He 100% has a point and every right to do what he did. And listen, he has more experience than our coaching staff. He's been around longer than our coaching staff has coached in the NFL. So he has every right to call them out and hold them accountable. I think it's more than fair. And even you don't have to hear from him. You can hear from the other team. The cornerback that made the interception goes out publicly and says, yeah, we saw this formation. We saw this 100 times. So, yeah, I'm going to sit on it. And we knew what was coming. So, I mean, you don't have to hear from Robbie. You can hear from the other team as well. So, and I think Joe Brady, he also took accountability for that. And we just got to do better. You have to put your players in a better position to succeed, and also you have to adjust. That's been our biggest problem this season, right? You cannot. We go out there and we perform excellent in the first half. We have not led or not trailed in any at the half of any game this year. We've led every single game. We come out in the third quarter and we stink it up. You come out there, you don't adjust, you go out there and do the same thing, you think you can get away with it, and guess what NFL coaches do? They adjust. Our college coaches are not adjusting. They have to adjust and figure it out and outcoach someone. We're getting outcoached after halftime. That's point blank period. No better way to say it. That's just the way it is. And I feel like we have to do better there. We have to do better. We are the worst third quarter team in the league right now. We are putting up no points. And the defense is doing the best they can. I give credit to the defense. They're holding on. They're trying to maintain that lead, but the offense has to do their part.
Let me ask you about Joe Brady then. And by the way, I think this goes in both directions. I heard defense coordinator Phil Snow in his presser after the loss to the Cowboys say that the Cowboys ran some things in week 4 that the Panthers had not prepared for, which I think is a problem. Joe Brady, and I think you're spot on the offensive side of the ball as well. I mean, there were 2 runs from Chuba Hubbard that got called back that maybe sway the game, but Also, third quarter offense was just non-existent. Is this a Matt Rule problem? Is this a coordinator problem? Is this a team problem? Like where do you, if you had to put the blame somewhere, where do you put it for the fact that the Panthers are a good first half team, but a notoriously bad third quarter team?
Yeah, I mean, and it's going to sound cliche, but it ultimately falls on the head coach. It has to go on the head coach. He has got to hold somebody accountable, hold somebody's feet to the fire, whether it's the players. If it's the players, you bench the players. If it's the coach, demote him. Do something. I don't know what the answer is, but something has to give. And this goes back to last year, too. This is not an isolated issue. We were pretty good first half team. It's flabbergasting to me. Like, you have to fix this issue. It's a problem. We were able to hold on in the first 3 games, and it didn't become an issue. And now in these last 2 games, we're getting exposed. Right? We're figured it out. Teams have figured us out, and we have to adjust. And ultimately, that blame has to fall on the head coach, and that's Matt Rule.
Rashad Beard joining us here on the show. By the way, Rashad, we just got a text that came in that said, ESPN, I want to be as passionate about anything in my life as Rashad is about the Panthers. That's why we have the young man on every single Thursday at 1 o'clock. Rashad Beard from the Panther Nation podcast. Joe Brady. So after John Gruden got cut by the Raiders, and I'm going to ask you that separately in a minute, but after that went down, Raiders fans started putting out their wish list about who would replace John Gruden, and I've seen some interesting names. One Raider fan who I can only imagine was on some sort of narcotic said Sean Payton. Cool. But the name that I've seen towards the top of the wish list of a lot of Raiders fans is Joe Brady because of what he did at LSU. But Carolina's offense the last 3 years, this year included, has been okay in certain spots. Just how do you feel about Joe Brady in general, I guess is the best way to ask it.
Okay, so this is a loaded question. And I think that Joe Brady, and please don't take this as disrespect to Joe Brady, but he's done nothing, absolutely nothing to earn a head coaching opportunity. Nothing. He's proven nothing at the NFL level. Had a great 1 year, 1 year run at LSU. Awesome job. You had the best quarterback, the best wide receivers, the best offensive line. Everything was in your favor, and you did great. Okay, so credit to you there. You earned it. But at the NFL level, he hasn't done anything. And again, every team has and we can talk about the offensive line, how bad they are. We can talk about quarterback play and how he's playing. But every offensive coordinator has an issue to deal with, right? Not everybody has a great offensive line. Not everybody has a great quarterback play, but they're able to scheme around it. And that's what I have yet to see from Joe Brady. Until I see that, he has no business on anybody's sideline coaching as a head coach. And that's just being blunt about it. And could he get there? Absolutely. I think there's just so much buzz around getting the next Sean McVay, right? Getting a young guy out there, getting him on there and letting him take off and hopefully get that run. And more credit, more power to you. And for that, I say go ahead and take him. By all means, if you want Joe Brady, please go ahead and take him so the Carolina Panthers can move on. We can get an offensive coordinator that's going to be around for the long run. Because as soon as he got here, there's been head coaching buzz around his name. And it's, again, no disrespect to Joe Brady. It's just that we need continuity. We need somebody that's going to help build Sam Darnold. He's going to be the guy. And us adding and going through offensive coordinators is not helping us. And I'm hopeful that Sean Ryan is the guy, our quarterback coach, that's going to eventually take over. And that's kind of in the works right now. I'm hoping that's going on behind the scenes. But for Joe Brady, by all means, we had a conversation with the Minnesota Vikings fan. He said the same thing. Please, if you want Joe Brady, take him so we can move on.
Rashad, don't burn yourself on the hot take, big fella.
It's true. This is the truth, man. Sorry.
And the thing is, here's the thing. I got to tell you, I don't disagree with you. I was down in Florida, and there's a lot of LSU fans down in the Panhandle. With after Katrina, a lot of Louisiana people moved over to Florida where I was living, and during that Joe Burrow run, there were a lot of people that were ready to place the moniker of young genius, the next Sean Payton, on Joe Brady. And dude, it's been 3 years now, and I'm pointing around and going, show it to me, right? Like, show it to me. And I hate to say that, but if Joe Brady doesn't let Sam Darnold break out of all of the notoriety that's on Sam Darnold, you got to make the move to somebody because you locked in with Darnold for a while, right? Like it's not moving. If Brady can't get better out of Darnold than 3 picks against a soft Philly defense, you got to make a move, right? Matt Rule at some point has to go, hey, we thought he was a guy. He's not the guy. On to the next one.
Exactly. Accountability. You have to be held accountable. And so I agree with you, man. And if you want him as your head coach, I think he's great. I think he's done some great things at LSU. He's dealing with some personnel issues here, but good offensive coordinators can coordinate around that. You can draw some plays to help out the offensive line, put your quarterback in the best position to succeed. I think he's done that. And again, he's not terrible. There are some execution issues, but again, he has not done anything to earn a head coaching job. I'm sorry, I haven't seen it.
Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. The folks I've talked to up in Charlotte, Rashad, say that young man Christian McCaffrey should be back on the field for the Panthers this week. Here's what I said last week. I thought Christian McCaffrey maybe could have played last week, and had it been a division game, I think he probably does play. But my thought, I said this on our pre-kick show on Sunday. I said it on Friday before we went to the weekend. If you can't beat Philly at home without Christian McCaffrey, it doesn't matter whether you make the playoffs or not. So it was a good idea to rest him one more week and get him to 100%. A, is he? And B, do you agree?
I don't know if he's at 100% or not. I think, obviously in the league, you're never going to be at 100%. I think you can get to as close to 100% as possible. Do I think he's probably ready to play? I don't know because hamstrings linger. But I think we're fine without him. I know Christian McCaffrey's great, but look at what Chuba Hubbard did last week. The more it's all about reps, right? And I'll give you. Let me set this up the best I can. Go back and look at the Cowboys game. You give Chuba Hubbard the football 13 times. Okay, 13 times he averaged, I think, 3 or 4 yards a carry. You didn't give him the football enough, right? So you give it to him double that. You give it to him the football almost 30 times last week against Philly, and he did A-OK. It's all about the reps. It's all about the touches. If you give Chuba Hubbard the same amount of touches, and I grant it, no one can duplicate what Christian McCaffrey does as a receiver, okay? Nobody, that Texas route that he runs, immaculate, perfect, okay? I'm not trying to take anything away from him in that aspect. But there's so many other guys on the football field. Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, Terrace Marshall. For goodness sake, please get them the football. I love Christian McCaffrey, but you have to let others touch the football. You're not going to be successful running your entire offense through Christian McCaffrey. It worked the first 3 games. That's because the defense played lights out. Prior to that, we're not successful with Christian McCaffrey on the field. We're not successful with Christian McCaffrey off the field. We have to spread the football around and get everybody involved. And I just feel like Christian McCaffrey is the ultimate crutch. He's out there. He negates a lot of bad play calling. He negates a lot of bad quarterback play. And he's great. But he's an ultimate crutch. He's letting Joe Brady get away with just dumping it off to Christian McCaffrey and calling it a day. It's gonna get ate up one day. You have to be able to use everybody on the field. Until we do that, I don't think this team is going to be successful in the long run.
Rashad Beard is the host of the Panther Nation podcast. You can find them on Twitter at Panther Nation PC. You can also check them out on YouTube by searching Panther Nation podcast. Real quick, 30 seconds, Rashad, give me some thoughts on the game this weekend. Can Carolina get back to form?
Yeah, I think we can get it done. Game is won and lost in the trenches. I think as long as we run the football against that soft run defense of the Vikings, I think we'll be fine. Offensive line has to show up, though. We talked about them every week. I feel like they're not playing up to what we think, but I think we can. Hopefully, the crowd shows up and supports the team and gives them a little bit of a boost. But I think this is a winnable game, and we can get it done. Panthers, I'm going to say 24-20, something like that. I think it'll be close. All the Vikings games have been close. So Panthers in a close one.
Rashad Beard. Check them out on Twitter at Panther Nation PC. Search them on YouTube for some incredible comment, including post-game wrap-up press conferences. And if they're all as good as they were last Sunday, it's worth the follow. Sean, my dog, good times, man. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys.
There you go. That's Rashad Beard. Quick break. Back after this. My name is Rob Brown. Lonzo's at the helm. You're listening to The Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
You see.
QCkinetics.com, QCkinetics.com, QCkinetics.com. Go there. Why, Rob? Well, I'm glad you asked. Why? Because you, like me and a lot of other folks, suffer from joint pain. All right. It is nearly inevitable that as you age, you're going to start to experience joint pain. You got connective tissue inside your joints. It starts to wear down. Bits that ain't supposed to rub start to rub. You get inflammation, you get swelling, you get soreness, you get pain. And some of us get told, hey, surgery is your only option. Well, there's a better alternative. And to find out about it, you got to go to QCkinetics.com. QC Kinetics can help you with knee pain, shoulder pain, elbow pain, wrist pain, ankle pain, lower back pain, hip pain, joint pain, finger and toe pain, foot and hand pain. If you've got tendon or ligaments or muscles that are giving you pain, they can help you as well. QC Kinetics can help you to restore and rebuild that connective tissue in your joints. They can help your body relearn how to heal that connective tissue so that you can get back to feeling good, feeling great, feeling, most importantly, pain-free, and do it without going under the knife. But if you want to learn how, you got to go to QC Kinetics. Give them a call, 864-448-3772, 864-448-3772. Mention the Rob Brown Show and get that first consultation for free if you mention the Rob Brown Show, 864-448-3772. Check it out. It's QC Kinetics right here in Greenville.
He continues to be limited in practice, and according to head coach Matt Rule, really it's a 50-50 proposition on whether or not McCaffrey will be able to play on Sunday. Linebacker Shaq Thompson has continued to miss practice with a foot issue, while left tackle Cam Irving with a neck issue, and guard Pat Upland, who's been a little bit banged up as well. They have returned to practice. Panthers and Vikings coming up on Sunday. You'll be able to hear all the action of it on Classic Rock 101.1. Download the Score app today, lightning fast sports alerts, so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
High school football fans, I'm Cole Bryson. Get the scores, discussion, interviews, and more on the Saturday Morning Scramble powered by Founders Federal Credit Union. Every Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m. There's a snap. It's reverse. Wade Meadows, right side. Touchdown. Wade Meadows. It is a one-score game.
Saturday Morning Scramble. ESPN Upstate. Everywhere on the Odyssey app. Powered by Ames Markets. Official grocery store of the Saturday Morning Scramble.
Introducing the best deal in mobile. Unlimited on 2 or more lines for $29.99 a month per line. With no contracts, no added taxes, and no hidden fees. Includes nationwide 5G. Save up to 60%. Get unlimited on 2 or more lines for $29.99 a month. Call 855-438-2999. Click SpectrumMobile.com or visit a store near you.
Offer valid for new customers on 2 or more unlimited lines. Savings based on 2-line comparison of unlimited plans among major national carriers is 9.31. Prepaid excluded.
At Fisher Investments, our clients know we have their backs. How do your clients know that? Because Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, the highest standard for a financial advisor. It means we're there for our clients and always put their interests first. So wait, you do it because you have to? No, we do it because it's the right thing to do. Our clients trust us with their retirement savings, and we know how important that responsibility is. So we take the time to really get to know them.
Get to know them how?
We make sure we understand their unique goals, finances, health, family, and lifestyle, so we can tailor their portfolio to their specific needs. Our goal is to help them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Sounds like a big responsibility. You must make big commissions then, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We have one single transparent fee that's structured so we do better when our clients do better. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you are switching to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Thanksgiving and Christmas, they're on the way, and bringing friends and family with them. This is Don with American-Made Windows, and now is the time to update and upgrade your home with our beautiful energy-efficient windows before the guests arrive. Nothing improves the look of your home like new windows, and ours are energy-efficient, affordable, and we do expert work quickly and cleanly. Visit amwupstate.com or call 334-6030. And remember, the best windows are American-made.
Furman football hosts its first night game since 2016 this Saturday when it renews the oldest rivalry in the Southern Conference, a 6 p.m. matchup with the Citadel. Everybody dance.
I might go to that.
Saturday's fun begins outside the stadium when
You should if you can.
live music, food trucks, inflatables. It's a one-of-a-kind tailgating atmosphere. And then after the game, stick around for a huge fireworks display. All of that plus a great college football matchup. It's Furman hosting Citadel Saturday at 6 p.m. Tickets are still available at FurmanPaladins.com.
And now a small business setback, delivered by a kind French stranger.
Monsieur, there was an accident. The windshield of your catering van is, how do you say, kaput? Well, Progressive has an extensive network of repair shops. Now, we think about the old days. Brave marin, revient de guerre.
When things go wrong with your small business, it's comforting to know you have Progressive Commercial. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Croissants for everyone.
Croissants. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Time for an oil change? We've got what you need to check it off your list. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil. And
Wonder if the chef has come up with anything new for tonight.
Those peanut butter wings were surprisingly better than I expected them to be.
When I was talking to him, he said he had a few more ideas, and I don't know if he's waiting to run those by or.
Is finding the right candidate slowing you down? Cut straight to your hire with Indeed. Our hiring platform makes it easy to attract, screen, and interview candidates all in the same place. To find your next great hire, visit Indeed.com/credit.
All right, the Rob Brown Show rolls on. It's ESPN Upstate. Texas says, does Rashad think that Joe Brady will leave for LSU if offered? I think Rashad would say what I would say, and I won't speak for him. I'll ask him on Twitter, or you can too, at Panther Nation PC. I don't think Joe Brady's getting offered by LSU. I don't think Joe Brady's getting offered by anybody right now, right? Like if he would have taken a head coaching job coming straight out of LSU after the Joe Burrow's national championship season, I think there's a chance he could have been the top name for a handful of jobs at both levels. But with what you're seeing out of the Carolina Panthers offense, and you could hear the frustration from Rashad Beer while he was talking about it, right? It's predictable and it's mundane. And granted, I know you've been doing it without CMC, but here's the thing. Lonzo, if you don't have Run CMC up there, that should open the offense up more, not restrict it less. If you got CMC, you can run the same 9, 10, 12 plays and it worked because he's so good. You can tell the defense what's coming and he does that. But without him, you should have more options on the table, not less. And I haven't seen that out of the Panthers.
Well, I think Rashad downplayed how the importance of Christian McCaffrey. I mean, because Chuba Hubbard is good, but he's not Christian McCaffrey. There's a burst out of Christian. There's just something about him. That dude is just a football player. And as far as Joe Brady being mentioned, I haven't heard any hot seat talk period this year.
I haven't either.
And usually when you hear hot seat talk, then you start hearing names, and then you know if people would be looking at him. But I agree, because it's a popularity contest to a degree. Once your name gets mentioned on all these hot seat supposed openings, then you become that guy. And every year there's a list of guys. Well, this guy needs to get this guy, but we haven't heard that this year. So I don't know. But if he would have taken a job right out of college, he probably could have picked where he wanted to go.
Correct. Had he come off that LSU season, he could have gone anywhere he wanted, right? I think he was arguably, I'm not saying he was, I'm saying he was arguably the hottest thing coming out of
you didn't
coordinator ranks.
You didn't hear Joe Burrow's name being mentioned without hearing Brady's name.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you heard one, you heard the other.
Now, that being said, I wonder now if a couple of years later, if people are going to start to recognize that it was Joe Burrow and those wide receivers, not necessarily in Joe Brady's offense, just the fact that they were as good as they were.
except for they were there the year before. Brady was just that much better to get them, or it could have just been maturity and it could have just been another year. I mean, you're right. I guess we'll find out. And I do agree that the offense seems to be kind of vanilla, especially in that fourth quarter, the last game.
Yeah. It just hasn't been good.
But as an offense that is so, they need Christian McCaffrey, and he is the focal point of everything. And without him, I don't think they can find that next guy.
Yeah. Again, I understand it's taken away. A huge chunk, right? Again, I've mentioned this a couple of times in the last 2 weeks, talking about this exact story. The mentality of next man up is a bad mentality, because when you try to put that on an offense, like if you're Chuba Hubbard and you get told Christian's out, next man up, like, yeah, that's how depth charts work. That's exactly what they are. But that doesn't mean you just replace what you have lost, right? You don't just step the next guy up and you have the same product. If it was, every team would have a Christian McCaffrey, but they don't. 2 teams have a Christian McCaffrey. Them and Alvin Kamara and the Saints. That's it. That's the list.
Yeah, Rashad is throwing things up on the stream and says CMC is great, but his individual success does not equate to wins. You're right. They do lose while he's there, but you gotta admit, when he's there, you got a better shot to win. And it seems like the offense from training camp is all centered around him.
100% it is.
And they did. Is a quarterback good enough to make the decisions to get the ball to those receivers?
I think you're right. But like I said, when it comes down to it, if you don't have him on the field, the offense should look more unpredictable. The offense should look more unpredictable, not less. If you have a running back that's so good that you can tell the defense exactly where you're running or throwing him the ball and he can still make plays happen, then run those same 12, 14, 16 plays over and over till they start getting stopped. But if you don't have that guy that you can tell the defense what you're doing and then do it and it be successful, then your offense should look less predictable, not more predictable. In the last 2 games, the Carolina Panther offense has looked more predictable. Down 2, you surrendered an INT on a game-winning drive last week when the cornerback of the other team said, I predicted it. I saw what they were doing, and I just took it away. It's a massive problem already. But then when your wide receiver says, I've been telling the coaches what I need to do, and I did what they told me to do, and we got picked. I did what they told me to do, and I got picked. And he is right. If he runs a double move on that play, he is 6-ing it. He is going to the house. If he does what he said he wanted to do, Robbie Anderson is still running today, 5 days later. He's still running.
That's speculation, though, because yeah, he could have been open. That doesn't mean that he gets a ball thrown right to him.
No, but it gives him a better chance. You know what doesn't happen? The pick, likely.
I think I am not questioning that he's right or wrong about what he said. It's just about how he's going about doing it. I just say you go tell the quarterback, like I said earlier, hey man, this is open. I'm going to go ahead and do this and see what happens. The coaches are not going to say anything to you if you score a touchdown on that play. They're just not.
It's not unfair. Not unfair. Wes is hanging on, talking a little Panther football. Wes, good to have you on the show, buddy. Welcome back.
Hey, Rob, I just want to ask you a quick question, and then I'm going to bow out. Here's the question. When does CMC become a liability instead of the man?
Well, I mean, to me, when he stops producing, right? Like when he stops producing, because if you, Wes, and I appreciate the phone call. Good to have you on the show, bud. 3-1. 3-1.
When do we start keeping track of him?
Check. You are incorrect, sir. Incorrect. You have no power here.
You know what happened is I pushed the wrong button. Let's try it again. Let's try it again.
All right, go ahead. Go. Damn. Okay. Well, that still wouldn't count. It's not my mistake. That'd be on you being.
Hey, they don't know that.
Okay.
You don't know.
To answer
Wes's question, I think Wes is right, because right now you could almost say that if what I'm saying is right and everything's centered around Christian McCaffrey and he's not there, then he's right already.
Sure, you can say he's a liability when he's hurt. When he's hurt, because the offense is hamstrung. But here's the thing. That's not Christian McCaffrey's fault. That's Matt Rule and Joe Brady's fault. It is not the fault of CMC that they have built an offense that only works if he is out there. That's not on him. So I would argue he's not a liability. At that point, Joe Brady's offense is the liability there. Texas says ESPN, I was there Sunday. First Panthers game for me. The fan base was weak. I was surprised at all the Eagles fans. I'm going to say two things. Number one, don't ever be surprised at Eagles fans. They will find new and creative ways to shock you every week, like the Eagles fans, Lonzo, that got arrested at the game on Sunday because
they're getting busy.
They's getting busy. In the men's room bathroom stall, a young lady and young man in Eagles jerseys decide that being decent people and going to the car in the parking lot like civilized adults,
yeah,
wasn't acceptable. So they decided to go get it on in the bathroom at Bank of America, where then they were promptly placed in 2 silver handcuffs and walked out with Charlotte's finest. The best part was the handful of Panthers fans chanting, "Let them finish."
I didn't hear about that part. And to do something in every stadium. Yeah, maybe they were successful in other stadiums. They just got busted here.
In Philly, that won't get you arrested. In Philly, that'll get you a trophy for MVP performance of the day. I don't know. But yeah, don't be shocked by Eagles fans. I am surprised, however. I don't know if I'm surprised, because like I said, when I got here, first couple times I taught Panther football, I got told, hey, look, here's a fact, Rob. You'll learn this when you go. Panthers fans, what did Sean call him? He had a great term for it. Was it wine and cheese
Wine and
fans?
cheese. Yeah, I've heard that too.
It's a great term.
And again, it's hard for me. I've been to a ton of Panthers games, but I haven't been to any other NFL stadium to judge it by. I've heard that stadium be so loud. I told this story before. I was there to a Panther game. We were up in the upper stand somewhere and saw Steve Smith receive it was a punt or a kickoff, I forget which one. It was a punt, and just saw the lanes open up and just heard the swell of the crowd. You saw the opposite. I've been in the stadium and watched people not really paying attention to what's going on the field, which I don't understand. If you're paying money to go there, why aren't you watching the game?
Yeah, yeah. Sean called him a wine and cheese fan base, and I've heard that's the case, which is too bad for a team that is on it. It doesn't look like it right now. Again, I told you guys at the beginning, they're going to finish 500. I'm not walking away from that, but 500 is an upward trajectory, remember. It's an improvement. And what do we ask for? Improvement. When we come back, William Shatner, a.k.a. James Tiberius Kirk, went to space yesterday. And we have the audio of his reaction when they got there. And it is incredible. Play that for you when we come back on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
The Washington football team will retire late safety Sean Taylor's number 21 jersey before Sunday's home game against the Chiefs. He'll be only the third player in franchise history to have his number retired. The others are Law and Bobby Mitchell. NHL, hours before hosting the Maple Leafs in their season opener, the Senators signed forward Brady Tkachuk to a 7-year, $57.5 million contract. The 22-year-olds led the team in scoring the past 2 seasons. Ottawa takes on Toronto tonight, 7 Eastern on ESPN+.
From the English Market Studio, this is ESPN Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg, ESPN.
So I'm looking at Twitter right now, and I'm seeing both Jade Cargill and Renee Paquette wanting to get into the right shoe. They call them sneakers. I call them tennis shoes. So I can't wait till Rob comes back because he is the expert, and he could tell them what shoes to get into. We want them to be barefoot.
Experience the best golf the Low Country has to offer at Cliff Island Golf and Beach Resort. Both of our 18-hole championship golf courses offer stunning natural beauty and challenging play. Golf at either Ocean Creek, featuring the Great Salt Marsh, or Ocean Point, showcasing 10 holes along the Atlantic. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff can create a custom stay-and-play accommodations package in one of our fantastic vacation rentals. Learn more by calling 866-976-1381 or visit us at FrippIslandResort.com.
Restrictions may apply. Plans and cost for coverage may vary. Call Protect My Car for details. Look, money's tight for everyone right now. It's been a tough year, and you sure don't need to get hit with a big, unexpected bill. Like, what if your car breaks down like that? How are you paying the bill? If it's your transmission, that's over $3,000. Your engine, up to $6,000. Even minor repairs like your air conditioning.
So your expertise is needed on Twitter. So I'm sure you can help these people out. Jade Cargill says, so I'm trying to get into sneakers. I honestly don't know where to start. Help. And Renee Paquette also says, please send me help too. If I were to buy the shoe right now, what is it? And since you're an expert in footwear, I thought maybe you could help these young ladies out.
My suggestion, and I'm not a sneakerhead by any means, but my suggestion is you start with Chucks and you work your way up. Your entry level is Chuck Taylors. You get the Chucks you want, which you can either get the solid color Chucks, or you can actually go to the Chuck Taylor website, the All-Star website, and you can design your own Chucks, right? So like if you have an outfit you're specifically looking for Chuck Taylors for, that is certain colors, you can go to Chuck Taylor's website and you can actually design your Chucks, and you can get them multicolored with different leather and blah, blah, blah. So you start with Chucks and then you work your way up. The easiest next step up to go is into the Jordans. You go up into Jordans, and once you're into Jordans, then you've opened up a whole new world.
I'm guessing both of those people can afford the shoe,
100%,
the
yeah.
Jordans.
Get 2 great tastes in one delicious bar. Enjoy a Nature Valley sweet and salty nut bar today.
New FanDuel fantasy players. Your day is about to get 20% better. Start playing fantasy this football season, and FanDuel will give you a 20% bonus on your first deposit, up to $500. That's a big-time bonus, and all you need to do to claim it is make your first deposit. If you've never tried FanDuel, now is the perfect time to jump in. You'll love playing fantasy football on FanDuel. Not only is it easy to start, but you can set new lineups every game day, keeping the action fresh all season long. There are many types of game formats to choose from, and you can even play private contests with your friends. There's an awesome slate of games on hand this week and every week. So what are you waiting for? Get in on all the excitement and experience season-long wins without the season-long waits. Sign up today at FanDuel.com/play to claim your bonus and start playing today. That's FanDuel.com/play. Age and location restrictions apply. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires after 30 days.
I got that Shatner out of you. So William Shatner went to space yesterday. I'm doing this real quick. It's just a second, but this is just for me. If you guys like it too, that's great, but this is just for me. Captain James Tiberius Kirk went to space yesterday, or at least the very edge of it. He went to the first final frontier.
I like how you're acting like people will be shocked and offended that you're about to play this, because I don't think so.
I hope not, because it's great. It's great. So there was a camera and a microphone on board the Blue Horizon spacecraft, which took Captain James T. Kirk into outer space. And Captain Kirk got to experience weightlessness on the verge of space for the first time in his actual life, his real life. And I know I've made fun of the James T. Kirk, William Shatner way of speaking, but listen to James T. Kirk in space.
God.
Weightlessness. Oh, Jesus.
Carmen line.
No description can equal this. Weightlessness.
This is nuts.
Oh, my God.
This is
Oh, wow. Oh, I'm telling you.
Holy hell.
Oh, my goodness me. Oh, wow. I can't believe this.
Can I be real with you, Alonzo? If I'd have put a tone over him saying weightlessness and made you guess what he was talking about, I don't suspect we'd have thought Final Frontier was space in this case.
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain kind of music I could throw up underneath that.
Oh my goodness!
You know what that 90-year-old man with arthritis and all the ailments that go along with it.
When you when you crawl into the hot tub after a day of hiking, just But the best part was, if that wasn't William Shatner doing a William Shatner impression, I know what was. There is no description for this weightlessness. Oh. That was Shatner doing a bad Shatner impression.
You cannot recreate the bass that he put in his voice, though. That was some Barry White type stuff.
Weightlessness. Oh.
Yeah, but yours sounds like your NPR voice. Sorry. It just kind of does.
Shatner. If I bleeped out Shatner saying weightlessness, can we be honest? You guys would have thought that James T. Kirk was reenacting the type of scene that James T. Kirk was famous for when he met the green alien chicks. Can you run that one more time for me? It's just that good. It's just that good, which is what it sounded like James T. Kirk was about to say there.
God.
Weightlessness. Oh, Jesus.
Carmen line.
No description can equal this. Weightlessness.
This is nuts.
Oh, my God.
This is
Oh, wow. Oh, I'm telling you.
Holy hell.
Oh, my goodness me. Oh, wow. I can't believe this.
It sounds so dirty. It sounds so bad. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, wow.
That's it. That's the clip. That's the clip. Save it. Put it in the all-time greatest hits sound clip album.
Oh, wow.
In the next scene, James T. Kirk meets the green alien lady. They make their way into the tent, the flap closing slowly behind them, the flicker of a candle inside the tent. And then from behind the flap, we hear James Kirk.
Oh, wow.
End scene, rated TVMA. Oh, wow. Thank you for listening. Wow. to the Rob Brown Show. It's indescribable. Wow. Right here on ESPN Upstate. Oh, wow. I'm just done. I'm leaving it like that. That's the out. Oh, wow. Harley Davidson of Greenville wants you to get into the Harley Davidson lifestyle. Listen, it's not just about riding one of the best made bikes in American history. It's not just about being on the back of a piece of Americana. When you think American muscle motorcycles, you think Harley Davidson. But here's the thing. No matter what kind of style you want to ride, whether you want a big old hog to be able to take up and down the Blue Ridge for a few days at a time, maybe you just want a little cafe cruiser that you can run around, a little Sportster to run around on as your daily commuter. It doesn't matter. Harley Davidson has the bike of your dreams at Harley Davidson of Greenville. Not only can they help you find the perfect rig for you, but they can customize it to be the bike that you want. Paint scheme, they got you. Finishes, they got you. Brand new in 2021, new paint schemes and finishes this year. You want to rig up some LEDs across the bottom so you show up on the streets at night a little better? They got you covered. You want to throw that new Screaming Eagle exhaust on the back so you get a little bit better sound and performance out? They can do it for you. Everything you need to ride, from the gear to the bike to the maintenance, it's all right there at Harley Davidson of Greenville. And when you buy through the easiest buying process in the upstate, through the largest inventory of new and pre-owned bikes in the upstate, you will see exactly what I mean. Go see exactly what I mean by going to their beautiful showroom at 30 Chrome Drive in Greenville, 30 Chrome Drive, or check them out online at upstateharley.com, upstateharley.com. It's Harley Davidson of Greenville.
Sunny skies here this afternoon. We'll see high around 85. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 64. Friday, sunshine, high 82 degrees. Saturday, sun chance for rain, high 76. Sunday, sunshine, high 69. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Buczynski on ESPN Upstate. Currently, it's 84.
Keep up to date with every Upstate high school football game in real time with the ESPN Upstate score stream at ESPNUpstate.com. Set up a profile, create your feed, and follow your favorite teams. Know when the big plays happen. Go final the ESPN Upstate high school football scores in one night at ESPNUpstate.com.
Hey, football fans, Ingles has everything you need for game day. Whether it's the tailgate or the watch party, we got you covered. In fact, we're making your game day goodies right now.
Joe texted in, that sounded like the Philly fans in the bathroom at the Carolina game.
Nationwide 5G. Save up to 60%. Get unlimited on 2 or more lines for $29.99 a month. Call 855-438-2999. Click SpectrumMobile.com or visit the store near you.
Offer valid for new customers on 2 or more unlimited lines. Savings based on 2-line comparison of unlimited plans among major national carriers as of 9/2021. Prepaid excluded.
This feature sponsored by Indeed. Hiring for an open job shouldn't morph into a full-time job. Indeed is the smart hiring platform that delivers 4 times more hires than all other sites combined, according to TalentNet. Post a job and hire ASAP. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Did you know that United Healthcare helps connect you to doctors and therapists with 24/7 access to virtual care?
So I could have therapy from my couch?
Yep.
Or a doctor appointment from my car?
If you wanted to.
Wait, you're right. I don't even like when people see me sing in the car. Couch appointment it is.
Virtual visits are just one of the ways United Healthcare helps connect you to better health. Learn more at uhc.com. Benefits may vary.
Cheerios Oat Crunch Almond. I hope everyone's morning started with a smile.
It has a delicious and hearty combination of the Cheerios you love, whole grain oats, and sliced almonds for an extra crunchy crunch. That's how I set the rhythm for a great day. There's a Crunch almond in your local grocery store.
News is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
The 2005 Texas Longhorns began the season ranked number 2 and stayed there all season. Their defense allowed only 16 points per game, while their Vince Young-led offense averaged 50. The Longhorns went on to face USC in the BCS National Championship game against top-ranked USC, winning 41-38, in what many consider one of the greatest college football games ever played.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
You know that feeling when your team adds that one player that has every skill they've been looking for? Well, it's time your business knew how it felt too. LinkedIn Jobs taps into a network of over 770 million professionals to find the right people for your role. Then their filtering and prioritization tools help you narrow down to just the most qualified candidates for you. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn number 1 in increasing the quality of hire versus leading competitors. Post a job for free at linkedin.com/sports. That's linkedin.com/sports.
There's the rest, and then there's the best.
Wrapping up hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show. Texter said that Shatner clip sounded like the Philly fans in the bathroom at the Carolina game. Well done, Joe. Well done, Joe.
You know, it's funny because George Takei is trending right now. He says William Shatner is an unfit guinea pig.
Oh, my. Texter says, Rob, I thought I turned the radio into the Howard Stern show. What the question mark? I'd like to thank Shatner for giving me what is honestly one of the top 3 clips of my career.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that just goes right up there with, hey, Dustin Johnson, do you have the stamina to party with the young guys?
Oh, wow.
Blank, yeah, I do. Oh, wow. Shatner, so good. I was sitting, here's the thing. I'm sitting at the house last night. I got some guests coming in this weekend. I'm doing a little deep cleaning to get ready for them, right? And I have my phone hooked up to the Alexas in my house so I can play music while I'm cleaning. And then I get a notification from Reddit that says, oh, this clip of Shatner just dropped. I'm like, oh, that's got to be awesome, right? And I play that. And now I'm just imagining had I had my windows open and my Alexa's blasting, hearing Shatner coming out of my windows going, oh, wow. Wow. Oh, my gosh. I feel like I'd have gotten evicted. So good, Shatner. So good. When we come back, the Kurt Ferenc, James Franklin rivalry is taking off, and I'm here for it. It's next on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
The starting lineup is set for the Cup Series race at Texas Motor Speedway on Sunday. The first race is in the playoff field is cut from 12 drivers to 8 drivers. Those 8 drivers being placed in the front 4 rows using the qualified metric as Kyle Larson is set to start. Denny Hamlin will join him in the front row. Kyle Busch and Ryan Blaney in row number 2. Joey Logano and Chase Elliott in row number 3. And then Brad Keselowski and Martin Truex Jr. in row number 4. Right now in the playoff standings, Larson, Hamlin, Truex, and Blaney are the top 4 drivers, while Kyle Busch, Elliott, Logano, and Keselowski are the bottom 4 drivers. Download the Score app today, lightning fast sports alerts, so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
Have you heard the Rob Brown Show?
Come on, kid, do it. We got the 710, Randy. Oh, we got it. My goodness, the ginger is out. Just drop the 710. You bet, kid. You bet. Oh, man.
I wanted to be. If either of us have the opportunity for a 710 tonight, we need to make sure we record and have the same kind of reaction if we hit it, which is unlikely, but you got a better shot at it than I do.
I almost had what was it? It wasn't a 710. It was like a 610 last week. And I thought I had it. I threw the perfect ball and it just missed. If the pin goes like this and rotates like over, if it spins just a half an RPM slower, I pick that up.
Throwing a straight ball, it's really hard to do that. I mean, you just got to throw it extra hard and hope you can bounce it off the back.
And the thing was, like, the pin on the left was one pin in and the pin on the right was on the edge. So I should have probably tried to get the pin over here, but I knew throwing straight at an angle, at least I have some, because every ball I throw is on an angle. So I'm like, same motion, but just roll the wrist and up and down instead of over. And I thought, God, I almost had it. Almost had it. Oh, wow. It's the Rob Brown Show right here on ESPN Upstate. Rob Alonzo and you. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The third, the final, the best of money hour of the show gets going right now. Appreciate you guys spending your time with us. Want you to be a part of the program at 844-GSP. ESPN 844-477-3776 is the number. I am here for Kirk Ferentz v. James Franklin. Iowa, Penn State, the greatest rivalry in college football now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, Iron Bowl. I'm sorry, Palmetto Bowl. I'm sorry, Army Navy. We are now all in on Iowa v. Penn State as the greatest rivalry in college football. So on Monday, Kirk Ferentz, head coach of the Iowa Hawkeyes, accused the Penn State Nittany Lions of faking injuries late in the game to stop the clock and slow down the Iowa Hawkeye offense. Well, we told you about those comments the other day. Now we give you the reply of James Franklin, clip number 1. So this is interesting. Why? Because James Franklin went on passionately for like 4.5 minutes about why he was so mad at James Franklin, at Kirk Ferentz, and the Iowa fans. You got lumped in too, Hawkeye fans. Here is Franklin yesterday.
I kind of wrote some things down because I thought this was coming. First of all, I would ask anybody that's listening to take your Penn State hat off or take your Iowa hat off. I'm just going to talk in what I believe and what I think from a strategy standpoint, from a common sense perspective, from what's good for football, in my opinion, college football. So how does this strategy make sense against a huddle team? People use this strategy to slow people down. Spread offenses, tempo offenses, they huddle. So that strategy did not make sense in this situation. In our 6 years of playing them, 6 years straight, 4-2 with our record, has that ever shown up? Has anybody seen that? In my 8 years as a head coach, has that showed up at Penn State? In my 12 years as a head coach, has that showed up? Has not showed up. Plus our defense is playing lights out. Our defense is playing great. Our defense is playing lights out. We turned the ball over to start the game inside the 5-yard line, held no field goal. So again, go back and check it. And again, I'm not talking. I got tremendous respect for the University of Iowa. I got tremendous respect for their fans. It was a hell of a game in a tough environment. I'm not making excuses. It was a physical game. Was there a bunch of injuries? I get it. And how it may have looked, I get it. I'm telling you, we don't coach it. We don't teach it. And made it look that way because there was a bunch of injuries in the game. I get it. There's a bunch of injuries in the game. But 70% of those guys never returned. So all I'm saying is I don't think this is right for college football. If a player goes down and it's my son and the stadium's booing him, it's no different than a player go down at practice. One of the things I tell the coaches all the time, a player goes down at practice, what do coaches used to say for 100 years? Get up, you're fine. Well, what if he's not? So I wasn't attacking the University of Iowa. I'm trying to protect college football. And I don't think that's the right thing for our game. From a strategy standpoint, would it be strategic for us to tell PJ Mustipher to go down and fake an injury? One of our best players, one of our starters, one of our captains. Does that make sense? If you're going to do it, you wouldn't do it with your starter, your captain. All right, let's talk about his backup, Devon Elise, who also got booed. So would it make sense for the backup D tackle, we've already lost our starter, to send him out of the game for a play? I don't think so. AK, maybe our best defensive player. And his probably looked the worst. He went down. Maybe it's because he plays so hard he was cramping. But am I going to tell AK to go down and not play on defense? Does that make any sense? I'm just stating how I see the facts. Take your fan hats off. I want the Penn State fans to take their hats off. Now let's talk about injuries. Okay, now hold on a second. Before that, now put yourself in the shoes of a parent. Your son is down on the field for an injury, and the stadium is booing them. We didn't just boo that. We booed balls falling off tees by the wind. I don't know who we were booing for that. We weren't gaining an advantage of that. But your son's down on the field with an injury, and I just told you PJ Mustipher is done for the year, and we're booing. Is that good for college football? Is that good for college football?
Franklin was not super thrilled by the accusations, was he? Not super thrilled by the accusations. So I believe there are a number of teams. I don't wish to put an adjective or a number on that phrase, but I believe there is some number of teams that likely coaches their guys to know when it's time to go down, when it's time to fake an injury, get off for a play, and then come back on. And we've seen it happen. In fact, we've already got, 3 texters here. One saying, to be fair, homies players were going down all the time and then coming in the next play. So call a spade a spade. Another texter says ESPN Kentucky been doing the flop too. They did it several times against South Carolina when they were getting momentum. And texter says, also to be fair, I cheer when Clemson players go down, so maybe I'm a scumbag as well. Not a big fan of cheering when players go down, like at all. But hey, you do you, boo. You do you. I don't know, man. Like I've never really known how to address this situation, right? Because yes, I am sure there are some coaches who tell their players, look at the clock. And if they're gaining momentum and it's advantageous, hit the deck, fake a cramp, come back out. In fact, who was the, I'm not even going to guess what team it was because I don't want to slander a team and be wrong. But there was a play a couple of seasons ago, Lonzo, where a defense had 3 players go down after a play. Right when the play was over, 3 went down, including one who just, boom, dropped to the ground. And you never want to treat his injury as anything other than a worst case scenario because you don't want it to be real and really bad, and you're just like grabbing a guy and dragging him off the sideline. But 3 guys went down, including one who just dropped to the turf. Just like he got sniped.
He looked around first before he did it.
You remember what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I can't remember the team it was, but you remember exactly what I'm talking about. And anyway, 3 players went down. The timeout got called. And then the player who looked like he got sniped and dropped to the ground suddenly got back up. He had been restored by the healing power of football, I guess. I know in years past, there was a game where, who was it? There was a game, I can't remember who they were playing, but there was a game Oklahoma was playing in, and Oklahoma came to the line in what everybody, if I recall correctly, thought was an obvious running play. The team that they were playing was lined up in a run defense. Oklahoma then went five wide, and the defensive back, I want to say it was a cornerback, was lined up on a slot receiver because Oklahoma was four wide, maybe five wide. They were in a rushing defense. One of the players ran over to the nickel cornerback. Actually, it wasn't nickel because it was a rush defense. Maybe it was an outside linebacker. I don't remember. In fact, here, Lonzo, I just found it on YouTube. Walks over to him, and he just goes down. But the camera panned out, and you saw on the replay, and this is well after the last play was done, the camera pans out on the replay, and when they show it, the other cornerback comes over. He's motioning to the ground. He hits the guy on the back, and the guy goes down. And then the play stops while he's down on the ground. And it was very obvious that homeboy had faked it. It was Baylor. Okay, it was Baylor against Oklahoma. He goes down. He fakes an injury. He walks off the field. They accuse Baylor of faking the injury. It's happened in a handful of other games as well. It's not something that doesn't happen. And there are some big schools that have been accused of this. It's gamesmanship, and it's not necessarily great gamesmanship.
Happens at all levels of football.
Sure, it happens in the NFL too. I'm sure it does. In fact, I just pulled up a highlight reel of college football games where this has happened. Here's an Auburn LSU game. Plays over. LSU's got momentum. They're going to go no huddle, and bang! Down goes the outside linebacker. The offensive lineman are
That's
like,
good
"Do
timing
watch
on
this."
your part. By
Thanks
the
very
way.
much. I pretended to be the sniper. Another one right here. Here's Texas, and it looks like West Virginia, and the defensive back, the outside cornerback, who is clearly on one-on-one, just lays down. Oh, I'm dead. Just lays down. It happens. It's games for shit. It's ugly. It sucks. Texter says, speaking of faking something, cue the William Shatner clip. Well done, Texter. Well done. I don't know, man. Like, it feels dirty to accuse players of faking injury because you never want to accuse a guy who's faking or who's not faking an injury of faking an injury. It feels dirty to do it. But on the flip side, it definitely happens, right? Definitely. Lonzo and I just watched like 5 examples of guys clearly faking injuries to stop a clock. It happens. So I don't know, Zoe. Like, I've always felt, even if it's all but proven, coaches should not accuse other players of faking injury, because if you fake a guy and he turns out he's actually injured, you're kind of a jerk. But on the flip side, are there coaches who will go to that length in order to ensure a win or try to help themselves get a win? Absolutely. I get where James Franklin's coming from with this emotional outburst, right? Especially if he genuinely was not encouraging players to fake injuries. And he's got a point, right? Lonzo, if you're going to have somebody on your team fake an injury to stop the clock, you don't have it be the defensive captain. You send in the backup defensive tackle to run a play and fake an injury to stop the clock. You don't do it to the captain. But at the same time, you're going to put the guys out there, the best guys out there to stop. Because if you send in your defensive tackle and they happen to pick the right play and run their running back right at him and he misses the play, I don't know, man. Like, it's ugly. It's ugly, and I hate it.
I seem to recall back in high school, our coaches telling us to do some things like this. Yes. And I would never do it because I would say I'm not good enough of an actor to do it.
Sure.
When really it just felt dishonest to me and I just wouldn't do it. So yeah, technically I just lied, but so, which is dishonest. So if you want to analyze that, but as a person who doesn't want to run a bunch because I tell my coach no, it's like, no, man, not me. But they were designated, and it had nothing to do with whether it's a captain or not, because you take suspicion off yourself if it's a captain, and the captain leads by example. So if a captain does it, The captain can go, hey, you know, I did it. See, I can play conspiracy, but there's a problem with that. I got something else in that channel.
And it should never move. That's just William Shatner's home now, is on Channel 2. He lives there now. Texas says they call faking or embellishments in hockey diving, and I love it. They do that in soccer too. Take a dive. The difference is, right, and this is where, as a soccer defender, the haughty intellectual that likes European culture that I am, call it diving in soccer too. And it's frowned upon. You know what the difference is between diving in soccer and football is that if you take a dive in soccer, you can end up with a really advantageous situation, especially if they foul you deep in the offensive third, right? You end up with a free kick from 25 yards. That's a dangerous thing for the defense there. It's a direct competitive advantage. And there is one in football too, if an offense has got a ton of momentum and that you just stop the game for 45 seconds, a minute and a half, 2 minutes. You just stop the game and take that momentum away. I get it.
I think there comes a time where, as a coach, you don't have to coach certain things because players have been doing it. They've been doing it their entire football. But there's also the, you get that grad guy who's learning how to be a coach. That guy's your liaison. That guy relays stuff from an assistant coach, but the head coach never actually tells the assistant coach to do it. I mean, there are deniability methods that you can go about, and you never actually, as the head coach, have to say, hey, we coach this.
Right.
Because if you know how to do something, you know how to do it.
You have to coach it.
And if you have football knowledge and you understand what momentum is, and most people out there who's playing a game understands what momentum is, and you know what a killer it is, an injury timeout can be for momentum.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Texter says, ESPN, it's obvious fake injury when the DL jumps right up and runs off as soon as the refs blow the whistle to stop the clock. Looking at you, Kentucky. That's the other thing, dude. If you're going to fake injuries, fake them well. You know
well,
what I mean? Go for it, Emmy.
There are times when a young man can be hit in a place where it may debilitate him for a few moments.
Like by a spiked football, for instance.
Yes. And if that were to happen, as is probably happened to most of us, if you're a guy and it's never happened to you,
congratulations.
Good job,
Go
man.
buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah. So it never weird. Sometimes
that it's happened to some guys and they just lose their groin.
Yeah, I've
It's
heard
lost.
that somewhere. Yeah. It's I think I heard it on an award-winning program, but it never affects someone the same way every time. Sometimes it can be like, oh, and then other times you can be down for a moment or two and then it goes away. Sometimes it lingers. So I'm just saying some of those could actually be groin shots. They could be.
Yeah, I just don't love it, right? I don't love it.
And have you had the delayed reaction to a groin shot? Sometimes it doesn't hit you right away.
Yeah, it's you get a little bit of shock.
And there's nothing.
Yep.
Now, an especially difficult one might cause you to lose your feet. I'm not saying that's what happened in those situations. I'm just saying.
Your groin.
Yeah, well, yeah. Some of the kind of situations, that might be what it was.
Maybe. And also, maybe they just faked an injury.
Or maybe they did that, yeah.
Texas says, wow, listen to all the U of SC fans chiming in about flopping because, yeah, that's the reason Kentucky won. No, I didn't know this was going to cause a Clemson, South Carolina.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder who that person is a fan of.
All right, 844-GSP. When we come back, the Washington football team is disgusting and a disgrace. And there's another example of it. Shocking, I know. I'll tell you what it is when we come back on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
I have to do some creative editing because I thought I hit record and I did not earlier. So.
In the third quarter, and we think it's up. You come out there, you Don't adjust. Go out there, do the same thing. Think you can get away with it. And guess what NFL coaches do? They adjust. Our college coaches are not adjusting. They have to adjust and figure it out and outcoach someone. We're not getting outcoached after halftime. That's the point.
I like Rashad in stereo.
Download the Score app today. Lightning fast alert so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN
Adjust and figure it out and outcoach someone. We're getting outcoached after halftime.
After a fantastic performance against Riverside Saturday, Kai Cook has been awarded the ESPN Upstate Player of the Week after his 7 receptions for 324 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception. Again, congratulations to the Burns Rebel, Kai Cook, on being named the ESPN Upstate Player of the Week.
The ESPN Upstate High School Player of the Week. The gridiron coverage is at ESPNUpstate.com. Mad World Haunted Attraction is now open. Voted one of America's top haunts and #1 in South Carolina. Experience the biggest and scariest haunted attraction. Full of dark woods, incredible set designs, special effects, and top-notch actors. Grab your friends and get ready to scream. Mad World is more than just a haunted house. There are escape rooms, scary carnival games, concessions, bonfire, amazing photo opportunities, a gift shop, and our brand new 18-hole Ghost Town mini golf. Mad World has scary entertainment for all ages, including families, adults, teenagers, and the adrenaline junkies at heart. Located in Piedmont off I-85, exit 35, Mad World Haunted Attraction is the place to be this Halloween season. Don't miss it. Buy your tickets now at madworldattractions.com.
Use too much hand sanitizer.
That's madworldattractions.com.
Mondays catch a bad rap, but they aren't that bad. Half the morning is spent telling everyone how epic your weekend was. Then you the weekend with Sabina. Next.
So we are busy looking at websites, and we're going to buy a wagon because we got to figure out a way to get the groceries down the hill over the messed up bridge. And a wagon is the only thing that we can think of.
Let me show you what I would get if I was you. I used to have one of these. They're not necessarily cheap.
It's got to handle terrain, though. Keep that in mind because it's
I'm
not.
about to show you. One of these is exactly what you need.
Yeah,
I use those and they even come with bigger air-filled tires if it's real sandy or gravelly.
Oh, it is. That's the problem.
So I would get one of these, but you can get ones that have bigger air-filled tires. This is what I use when I go to the beach because dragging stuff over the sand in Florida, you step in it and it goes down to your ankle. Regular hard plastic.
I gotta tell you, I was looking at the too cheap and wouldn't. Yeah.
Now you can get ones that are even nicer, like this is the LLB one. It's $170. I've never bought one that expensive, but this is exactly what I would get, and they work like it now. They're collapsible, so you can just bring it to the car and put it in the trunk, and it's not in the way.
Well, I'm also trying to decide if I can find a cheap one that can be pulled by a lawnmower. I may go for that instead because I can use that for other stuff.
Dude, redneck engineering, you can pull anything.
Yeah, I know. I know. A little bit of what, but it would need to be very stable if I was going to pull it by the lawnmower. So if I got a hand one, I still have to be careful because our driveway is messed up too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're talking about different levels of terrain, rocks, washout, everything. So it's going to be fun. But we don't see that getting fixed anytime soon. So, and groceries are necessary to live. So we're going to have to. I might even just buy a Red Ryder little wagon. I don't know. But I'd rather use something that I can use for other stuff. If you are vouching for that, I may check that out.
I absolutely am.
I mean, because I have a wheelbarrow, but I don't want to take a wheelbarrow down the.
No, I'm telling you, get you one of those beach buggies.
And it being foldable, it's kind of cool too.
How have I not thought of that yet? How have I not thought of that? Damn, that's good.
Season 3 has actually started filming.
Sweet.
So I'm surprised. But
This report is sponsored by DEA Take Back Day, October 23rd. DEATakeback.com. Help DEA keep our communities safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take Back Day, October 23rd. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent drug misuse before it starts.
I just don't think he's gonna be.
welcome into the WWE, because I have attested until they go head to head with the big boys, and NXT doesn't count because NXT is developmental. We can argue about that some other time. We already have. But coming up tomorrow, here's what the headline is going to be the day. Because here's the thing. All right. So AEW, the night is on 10 to midnight, although there's a little bit extra, which I'm going to tell you about in just a moment. But WWE SmackDown is doing an extra half hour, and that extra half hour is going to be commercial free from 10 to 10:30. And here's the reason why. FS1 because of baseball. So, and this happens every year. And this is why AEW wasn't on last night and they're going to be on Saturday because of baseball. They got to move things around because of baseball, and that's fine. It happens every year. So there's already been shots fired because WWE decided that they're going to do that half hour commercial free. And Tony Khan immediately is starting to respond and saying things to WWE and basically talking stuff, which is fine. That's what they do. And, you know, in the end, it's wrestling. And wrestling companies talking stuff to each other, that's not really surprising. And I think some people are offended that the top guy from one company or another would talk stuff, but they're wrestling guys. They write storylines. They do this stuff. This is basically a storyline. It is. There are some people, and I might be one of them, who thinks that AEW needs to get WWE out of their head and just be AEW, because a lot of their stars, every time, whether they're doing a promo, they're going after WWE. And I get that they know that that's where that is the Rob would say that they're. I don't think they're quite there, but they're heading that direction. They've got some things they need to fix, but the next step is going head to head, and that's what's going to happen Friday night. But is it? Because here's the deal. If it was all the time, they're going to be
rarely.
right.
Rarely.
Because, like in this case, it's on a Friday night. Some people, Rob, not me, but they have lots. You know, That's something for me. But still, I got things to do and then family time and stuff like that, so I don't watch it live. And I know that to AEW is women's division, which is nowhere near what WWE's is. No.
Crown tournament so far. Believe about 3.5 total minutes of wrestling out of that tournament.
Yeah, but how many minutes have we gotten out of Charlotte and Bianca and
Becky Two Belts,
big time Bex? And
I hate what they did to Becky. It's you took the most over female superstar in history, and then you're like, how can we make it dumber? And you did it. Congratulations.
I love it because it bothers you. Will he do more?
I agree with the majority of what you said so far, honestly. What I don't love. So Tony Khan said this morning on Twitter something along the lines, if they want to go head to head, I'm fine with it, because that last 30 minutes of SmackDown is commercial free. And Tony said, well, if they want to do that, I'll pull all the commercials off of AEW. It doesn't matter to me. I have more money than Vince. And technically that's correct if you include Shad Khan's money, because Shad Khan's worth like $9 billion and Vince is worth like $1.5. But to me,
you're throwing in Daddy's money.
Yeah, which of course he is, right? Like, which of course he is. Here's the thing. If you're trying to turn that into an angle, right? If you're trying to create a macho, or excuse me, a $1 million man angle here, it didn't go right, right? It didn't go right. It comes over as rich kid with daddy's money driving his Lexus and then claiming he's better than you because he's driving a Lexus energy. And I'm not here for it. Second off, I agree. If you're going to go head-to-head with SmackDown and the best match you're giving me is Punk v. Seidel, I understand why Punk is back, right? Is Punk going to win a championship in AEW? Yeah. Did Punk come back to win championships in AEW? I don't think he did. I think he came back to wrestle, and I think he came back to be a guy who trains up and pushes up younger talent. I genuinely believe him when he says that's why he's back.
You know, the other to do a buy-in on YouTube. And I don't get, is a buy, do you have to buy this? Or is buy-in just a term?
No, it's a term. Believe that there are, quote, rewards, end quote, for the wrestlers who win during these buy-ins. Because I think Daniel Bryan's doing one too. Who is the Japanese Goldberg. So, I mean, and that's a match I'm really interested in.
Is it? Okay.
And they had Mox put Suzuki over the way he did was to build up their use of him in other matches.
Oh, it's
you know, look, and
the bad guy
here's
from
what I'm
Sherlock
saying.
Holmes.
If you're going AEW, VWW heads up, I'd expect that AEW would have put a better card together, frankly. Why didn't they? I don't know. There must be a reason. I don't know what it is. I'd have thought they'd had a better card for this Friday.
Unless it's already been recorded and they can't fix it.
I don't think it is. I think with the money they have and the guys they have on the roster, they could go scrap it. We're going live, right? Scrap it. We're going live, and I believe it is live. I believe it's a live show.
I don't. When do they generally record that after Dynamite? Because I thought they did, and if they do, then is Dynamite also recorded?
I don't know. I can't imagine it is though. But all that being said, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. The reason I'm drawn to AEW is not because they have better management per se. The reason I'm drawn to AEW is not because they have better wrestlers per se. The reason I'm drawn to AEW is because AEW traditionally seems to be a more fan-driven content than WWE is. You can still see that WWE is, we're going to do what Vince wants, which is why you're getting Lashley v. Goldberg in Saudi Arabia again. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants Lashley.
By the way, I think you're wrong about that. I think Saudi Arabia wants that.
Maybe so.
I think these matches are dictated by the princes and those guys.
For the sake of the discussion, I'm going to say you're right. If they are right, that means what? Vince wants those matches to happen because he wants the Saudi money because that's what's important to him. Cool, and that's fine. It'd be hard for me to turn down the paycheck they're getting too.
As a businessman, I get it. Yeah.
That being said, every Raw is the same thing, right? Why did you take Becky Lynch, who was the most over female in wrestling history? Don't tell me I'm wrong because I'm not. And you've cheapened her character from the stone cold ass whooper that she was to a stereotypical traditional women's heel who's just kind of boring now. She's the Irish Becky or the Irish Sasha Banks now. That's all she is.
I would say to you, this is my opinion, she's no different than she was before.
She absolutely is.
It's all about
went from the
she is trying to outdress her husband.
She
though.
went,
There's
she
that.
is.
Yeah.
And that's part of it.
Yeah.
She went from the I am the do what I want, anti-corporate, Becky Two Belts, badass, I am the man, to generic female wrestler heel. Like when she was an anti-hero before, you may not have, but you saw where she was going, and now she's just a generic all about me heel, and it was a complete transformation of character after she came back that doesn't work. And I'll give you one example. She even, if you look at the way she dresses, Becky Lynch had the way Becky Lynch dressed before she came out, and since she's come back, and maybe this is her decision, maybe it is, I don't know. But since she's come back, have you noticed a difference in her wardrobe from what it was before? Becky Lynch didn't come out dressed as sexy lady wrestler. She came out in leather jackets and regular size jeans and t-shirts. And now she comes out.
Her and Seth Rollins are having a bet. I'm telling you.
Maybe it's her decision, in which case, okay, I accept it, but I don't like it. But since Bex has come back, she went from leather jackets and full t-shirts and jeans and boots when she was out cutting promos to strap tops that show off her stomach. And again, Becky Lynch, a very attractive lady. I'm not taking that away from her. She's a smoke show. The lady friend knows that on my the list. Everybody's got the list. Becky Lynch is on my the list. Okay. But she's not what she was when she left, which is why when she came back at, what was it, Extreme Rules or whatever, when she made the return, she had the loudest pop of the night, hands down. I'm not accepting any arguments to the contrary. And now she's just generic wrestler heel lady, and it's boring. AEW is more fan-driven content. That being said, I actually agree with you that AEW needs to focus on being AEW, because you notice WWE does not have Vince and its wrestlers coming out cutting tracks about that other company like AEW does. I actually agree. Not more than a couple here and there.
All right, because before we went to break, there's one of those things that I actually wanted to talk about.
Have at. Let's go. We got time for one.
All right, so you
I have not.
You're behind a little bit.
I have been turned off to NXT, unfortunately.
So a wrestler on NXT.
You can say who it was.
Top Dollar.
Okay.
Said spent more on sneakers. No, that's actually a response. Some of y'all favorite on camera to seem cool and hip, but in real life they rock Vans and Asics exclusively, but y'all not ready for that conversation. So that's the Top Dollar is coming out at. He also says, I prefer not to mention members of the competition, but if you watch their show, they tell on themselves. So he's talking about the Young
That
Bucks.
is the worst smack talk.
Yeah, but because
then they were ASICs and y'all not ready for that.
Well,
From a guy. That's good smack talk. That's good smack talk. That's how you handle it. What happens when you let wrestlers script wrestlers instead of having Vince script wrestlers? That's what happens.
So what else? He just needs to stop. Just quit talking about WWE. Go out there and show.
AEW needs to be, because I agree with like 80% of what you said. I think the top dollar smack was dumb smack. The response from the Young Bucks was exactly how you handle that. That's really well done. If there's a little healthy banter, I'm good with that. But like the way Khan did it, not great. The way the Young Bucks do it, fantastic. Right? That's there's a nuance in the approach that's missing, I think.
So my whole point was Tony needs to look down and look at what's being done right and go with that method.
I think Tony Khan, for a couple of weeks, AEW had a really, really good run of ratings. Really good run of ratings. And I think they started feeling themselves a little bit. And I respect that. You should. That's a great run. I would caution you about what you're saying going head to head, because if the ratings come in on Monday and you got your butt kicked by WWE, now what? Right? Now what?
Especially if it's on a different network than what they're normally on.
Now what? Exactly right. All right, let's take a break.
Neither one happen though. AEW is going to win.
I think AEW wins. I think you give WWE credit, a little bit of credit for changing networks, but I also
But
think,
it also who I mean they could do to take, because we already know what AEW has.
The other thing that has to come to light, and this is, I actually do think AEW has the edge here, is how do you sell what's happening on social media, right? Because that's the thing, Lonzo, for the majority of folks who have a TV they're watching, they're going to be scrolling Twitter while wrestling's on. What does their social media do to get you to change the channel? What can AEW put on social media that gets WWE guy Lonzo to flip over to AEW instead of WWE? And what can WWE put on social media that gets Rob Brown, AEW guy, to flip over to what they're doing? You get a surprise Brock Roman match? I'm flipping over, son. But that takes away from your pay-per-view. So can you do it? If AEW gives me a surprise, I don't know, CM Punk Omega match, I don't care what WWE does. I'm watching that. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show. Rob Alonso, ESPN Upstate. Texter says, Zoe, any updates to the Bridges of Lonzo County situation?
It's bad, people. It's bad.
We'll come back. I'll do the NBA show read.
Okay.
And then we'll go to break again.
So the thing's still going on? I thought it was on for 2 days.
I thought it was the rest of the week.
I probably just didn't read the email thoroughly.
But I thought we were doing it all week.
Hey, err on the side of doing it.
Correct.
Which you were going to do anyway. So.
Oh, that and bowling. Why haven't I talked bowling today? We're wearing the shirt.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving and Christmas, they're on the way, and bringing friends and family with them. This is Don with American-made windows, and now is the time to update and upgrade your home with our beautiful energy-efficient windows before the guests arrive. Nothing improves the look of your home like new windows, and ours are energy-efficient, affordable, and we do expert work quickly and cleanly. Visit amwupstate.com or call 334-6030. And remember, the best windows are American-made.
Introducing Fidelity.
Sources have told St. Louis sports page that the Cardinals have fired Mike Schilt as their manager. Wow.
Weren't they just in like a playoff? Playoff?
Talk to us today so we can help you go from saving to living. Fidelity Brokerage Services, member NYSE, SIPC.
So a friend told me about Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, and his exact words were,
I have found the worst use of an emoji on the day today. A young lady tweeted, already got the results back from my MRI. It either confirms I have MS or Guillain-Barré syndrome. Either way, this blows. And this lady responded with those emojis.
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, the unicorn of cleaning. According to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. So 82% of you listening will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. 82% of you will note that if you're hiring, ZipRecruiter finds qualified people for your job. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And 82% of you will remember that you can try
Dabo Sweeney says many people will be eating their words in regards to DJ Uwe Ungalale.
Hey, for his sake, I hope he's right.
My family's protected. Is yours? You don't have life insurance? Listen up, because I'm going to help you knock a big item off your to-do list this week. Now, you don't want just anyone for this. You need a pro. That's why you need SelectQuote. For over 35 years, SelectQuote has helped people save 50% or more by shopping highly rated insurance carriers. Check this out. SelectQuote found a 40-year-old guy with high blood pressure, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $19 a month. That's right, $19 a month. Seriously, that's nothing to be able to protect your family and all you've worked for. You'll be surprised on how affordable a policy can be. Plus, quotes at SelectQuote are free and take only minutes. Do me a favor. Take a couple of minutes to get your free quote. Call 800-960-3030. That's 800-960-3030. Or go to selectquote.com. That's selectquote.com. Full details on sample policy and carrier ratings at selectquote.com/commercials. Price could vary by health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Opinions wanted. Opinions are like.
All right, real quick segment here. A couple of things to tell you about before we get to Twitter trending topics. I want to remind you that the NBA Ultimate Insider Season Preview 2021 edition, brought to you by Odyssey and the Locked On Podcast Network, is available now. Go in depth with dedicated shows for every NBA team, featuring local insights from Locked On and Odyssey insiders. Get team-by-team updates, whether your team is a contender, somebody who might be a contender, somebody who isn't a contender. Maybe your team is considering, do we tank this year? Well, NBA insiders Chad Ford, Ryan McDonough, Brian Scalabrine, David Locke, and local analysis from around the NBA is on the Ultimate Insider Season Preview 2021. Go to Odyssey.com or download the Odyssey app to find the Ultimate Insider Season Preview with episodes about every single NBA team. Plus, if you've been watching the stream at any point today, you realize that Lonzo are wearing 2 very attractive blue and black shirts from the Stoneman Bad Bowlers Club. Tonight, 7 p.m., me, Zoe, Diesel, Stoneman, and a handful of the cast and crew of our network will be live at Spare Time Entertainment. We are going to start bowling at 7 o'clock in the Stoneman Bad Bowlers Club. Come on up. Come join us right there at Spare Time Entertainment. See if you can beat, well, me and Lonzo, frankly. It's frankly me and Lonzo, and then there's everybody else. All right?
Yeah, the bad part is I'm starting to realize, that when you're that young athlete and you can do everything, and then you get older and your body starts betraying you. And you're still right there and you're competing, but you can't get that extra little something you need to beat Rob Brown. And it's because of age and it's not because of ability. I'm having that problem, but I'm going to overcome that tonight. I'm tired of being down, winning one game and losing the next 2. It happens every time. Tonight, that's not going to happen, which means I may lose all 3. But it's not going to happen tonight.
Bring the noise, kids. Spare Time Entertainment, 7 o'clock. Before you go there, go to ClassicRock1011.com. ClassicRock1011. Those are numbers, not words. ClassicRock1011.com. The Stoneman Bad Bowlers link is right there at the top. Get yourself signed up and come bowl. Last week, Rob Brown bowled the high score of the night for all competitors by 1 pin, but one's enough. High score of the night trophy went to Rob Brown. Try and beat me. Try and beat me.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Try and beat me tonight at Spare Time, 7 p.m. Go to ClassicRock1011.com to enter. Back after this for Twitter trending topics on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Oh, wow. Dexter says, Lonzo, don't use all your energy bowling. You still have to walk home.
I do. They're right. And it's dark.
Includes nationwide 5G. Save up to 60%. Get unlimited on 2 or more lines for $29.99 a month. Call 855-438-2999. Click SpectrumMobile.com or visit a store near you.
Offer valid for new customers on 2 or more unlimited lines. Savings based on 2-line comparison of unlimited plans among major national carriers as of 9/2021. Prepaid excluded.
Burns Rebels play on ESPN Upstate. The Burns Rebels are set to square off with Norman. It's the Rebels and Cavaliers tomorrow night at 7 on ESPN Upstate and the Odyssey app. Powered by your local Ingles Market. 97.7 FM in Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
Prescription products require an online consultation. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
Think you might have ED? Not sure? Well, we'd like to let you in on a little secret. ED is common. About 40% of men experience ED by age 40, but the solution is simple. Find it at 4hims.com.
I didn't have to talk to a doctor in person. There was no copay, and the medication was shipped right to my door in discreet packaging.
Hims took care of it, fast and easy. Now our love life is better than ever. Get access to doctors online who can prescribe you FDA-approved ED medication if appropriate. The same active ingredient as name brands, but 90% cheaper. Skip the waiting rooms and pharmacy lines. Get a free medical consultation and rise to the occasion or your money back. Go to 4hims.com/joy to get your first visit free. No copay required. The only way to get this special offer is to go to 4hims.com/joy. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Time for another-
So it's not a highlight match to most people, but Bryan Danielson versus Bobby Fish could be a great wrestling match.
Oh, it probably will
Could
be.
be a great wrestling match.
Start your job today at AutoZone.com. Restrictions apply.
You'll get to see it Saturday night.
Maybe the My Computer Career logo should represent unemployed to employed. Ryan was out of work when he started classes in March. In September, he started his IT career, working for Amazon, making more money than he ever thought possible. Here's a prime opportunity. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You could start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
This report is sponsored by Gatorade and Sphinx. The ACC Football Championship is coming up, and you can win free tickets at Sphinx. Now's your chance to win tickets.
You know, I've never noticed the all button on there before. I need to check that out Saturday and see if I have that clicked
The all button
on the
down
comments.
on the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You can
wonder-
choose where your comment goes to. Like
I know. I think I may not have. Time for I believe Twitter.
today.
Okay, we can do that.
For yesterday's space flight with William Shatner. Oh my.
No, that's Takai. But
Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Sent out a in an interview said that we as human beings should be focusing on saving planet Earth before we start exploring space. My answer and response would be ¿Por qué no los días? Why not both? Why not both? Turns out you can solve more than one problem at a time. Here's the thing about space exploration. It's not just about getting to Mars, terraforming, and living there, although that would be awesome. And I do believe that we will see our first human set foot on Mars before my lifetime is over. It's not just about that. You know how many great innovations and inventions were created out of the need for spaceflight? So Velcro is only here because we tried to go to space and needed a way to stick stuff together.
Who could live without Tang?
Yeah. Yeah. Right?
Oh,
wow. Spaceflight is important. It is about innovation and invention and pushing the limits, not just about let's go to Mars, although that would be super sweet. Snowman's Bad Bowlers Club tonight. Spare Time Entertainment, 7 o'clock, coming out with me, Zoe, and Diesel. Mark Ryan is up next with Offsides. Make sure you stay tuned for that right here on ESPN Upstate. Later, brother. See you on the stream. Thanks for hanging out. Bye-bye.